traffic, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another weekend edition of the OSC Elite Rising Stars 17.5 day number 4. The final day of the tournament featuring rising players, the rising stars, baby. Let's go. As I'm of course live VIP with you, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one and all again to the final day of the tournament. For those that maybe are just now tuning in for the first time, or like, oh, hold on, what's going on? Final day, what's been happening with this tournament? Welcome to the OSC Elite Rising Star event. This is a pretty consistent tournament that's been hosted over many years to feature the up-and-coming talent in StarCraft. This is a kind of like a midpoint, I should say, between 17 and 18. This event typically it is double elimination with a massive bracket. This time it's a little bit more trimmed down and it's single elimination instead. Just as a heads up, single elimination when it comes to our tournaments. And let's catch up on the players that we're going to be featuring tonight as well, just to get a bit of an idea of the caliber of play you're going to be seeing. Bam, here we go. Now again, the way that this event is restricted and limited, it does restrict it based on accolades, based on placements in big premier events. So players that place too highly at EWC, at EPT regionals, DreamHack, events of that nature are ineligible to compete in this event. That is how it does restrict based on performances in these big major tournaments. Just as a heads up. So bam, here we go. We have been covering this event over the past 4 weeks at this point, 3 weeks prior to this. This is the fourth and final week, so it has been a very long, very intense bracket and tournament, and we've been featuring players like Shameless, like Shameless, Mono, Hackers, Top, Rebellion, Mute, and many others here. Players have all been rising and they've all been falling as well. We're down to our top four. Shameless, he was able to take down Zebestis and Mono to make it to the top 4, to make it in the semifinals. And I would say that Shameless, he is the number 1, if not number 2. He's top 2. He's top 2 player in the entire tournament. It's all about who can stop him. We have seen players take some maps, that is true, but we'll see if anyone can bring him down before those before the finals even. Meanwhile, MiniZerg, he had a surprising one himself. MiniZerg, he's a very fresh face to the scene. He only hit GM like last year, right? It was last year where he hit GM, and MiniZerg, he has been very quickly rising through the ranks. So really impressive play here. MiniZerg to take down Inexorable 3-2, to take down Mute 3-1 as well. 2 more established and veteran players, at least when it comes to this kind of event. So MiniZerg, he has been shooting up very fast and very quickly and has been looking very impressive. In my mind, he's still, you know, a step below GG Machine, right? GG Machine is maybe another young comparable player. GG Machine is still kind of has already had his own kind of growth spurt, and MiniZerg, he's just trying to catch up to that. But he's showing a little promise, and it's really cool to see younger up and coming talent. He's 19 years old, I believe. He's 19. I think he is technically older than GG Machine. True, he's older, but hitting the scene and hitting this level of play later, if that makes any sense. But again, it's been really surprising and been really exciting to follow his story. Scrolling down, we have YoungYakov. He's number 2. I would say Shameless and YoungYakov, they are top 2 players in the tournament. And again, I will say he would have had the harder side of the bracket. Took down MiniZergUA, and I would have said that Lemon could have threatened him, but Lemon did forfeit, unfortunately. So Lemon, he was unable to compete. Lemon did forfeit, and then YoungYakov, he's now up against Jumy in the lower semifinals. Jumy take down Creature and take down Ledlix. Another thing, I don't know if you noticed, but these are purely best of 5s. Pure best of 5s here between all these players, and we have our top 4. We have Shameless, MiniZerg, YoungYakov, and Jumy. Pure Protoss, Pure Zerg. If you're a Terran fan, if you're wondering where the Terran players, well, they're ineligible. They're too good. Typically the regulars in this event are Nicorette and Percival. Those are the 2 that come to mind. Nicorette and Percival. They're the other 2 Terran players around this skill level, but they both did place too highly in the most recent OSC championship, so that is why they are ineligible to compete in this event. They've gotten too good, baby. They've gotten too good. But with that, we are getting ready for our Night of StarCraft. So the plan here is we're going to be covering the semifinals one after the other, then we have the bronze match, and then we have the grand finals themselves. Every series here is going to be a best of 5, including the finals, just as a heads up. But here we go. First up is going to be Shameless and MiniZerg. They're going to be facing off in a PvZ. Let's go. Just catching them. Soon TM. Yes, soon TM, baby. Soon TM. I wasn't soon TM for too long. maybe like a minute. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the blue Zerg, sorry, the blue Protoss. The blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player from the land of Ukraine, representing Hokago T Team. It is MiniZerg. Let's go. Let us go. Yeah. So just catching up. I've been catching up. Light distorts the space and time continuum, so you can stream for 48 hours a day. Ah, if only, Pat, if only we could. SMH my head. Gamba, yes, my voice. Sorry, I was just catching up. But if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series, on who you think will claim this best of 5. Once again, coming into this, Shameless is the favorite player, but as I mentioned before, MiniZergUA is a young up-and-comer. He has been showing a lot of promise, and I'm looking forward to following his story here and following his run, not just in this tournament, but in future tournaments as well. As MiniZerg has also started to play more regularly in the Sparkling Tuna Cups, and in open tournaments in general. So it has been really cool to see. Meanwhile, settling in, Hatchcat's full standard opener here at a MiniZerg. We do have Shameless poking in, forcing and trying to force some inefficient mining here out of his Zerg opponent, and so far is achieving that. So just a little bit of inefficiencies here at a MiniZerg. As the Pro does poke in. Does poke in. Behind this is just going to be a gate expand. Gate expand is Cybercore. Soon getting into a take of choice. When it comes to our preferred playstyles in PvZ, from MiniZerg, we have seen a lot of mid-game play. True. We have seen a lot of mid-game prowess here out of MiniZerg. We saw that against Mute, if you recall. Meanwhile, from Shameless, he's very also mid-game oriented. He's not really one to cheese early on, but he is one to be more spicy in the mid-game or head into a longer later game as well, into a standard setup. So we shouldn't really be seeing any early game shenanigans between these two players. Just calming down, droning up, establishing our third bases, and settling in. Here I would say welcome to Tourmaline, of course. It's a very small map, show our systems by ground. Aggression is favored here. Because of that, I would say the 3 base all-ins can work quite well. So our eyes are going to be on MiniZerg to see if he does cut workers early, and if he does go for a 3 base committed build. Likewise, Shameless may go for an earlier Twilight Council after the Stargate. But now it is going to be Oracle first. Does open Oracle. So here we can still just join, so just saturate. And again, our eyes are mainly on Shameless here to see the timing of the Twilight Council, to see when and where he takes his third base. Third base is now going to be on the way. Early Eva Chamber at a MiniZerg. This, of course, is a sign of Ling Hydra. Typically, when you rush into an early Eva Chamber like this, it's for a +1 melee, and it typically is to also skip out on Bailings and skip out on Roaches. We might still see a safety Bailey Nest. That's maybe the highest likelihood here when it comes to playing safe, but outside of that, it should just be a Ling Hydra. Oh. As Oracle pokes in, Spore is a little bit too late. 2 drones go down. Not bad damage here by Shameless. Also melee is on the way. And again, we'll see if MiniZerg throws down a safety Banelist or Roach Warren. For now, though, it's just droning. And so far, there's no real reason to force like a more defensive reaction. Checking Shameless's vision here and checking his main base. Third base is on the way, and there's still no Twilight Council. So it looks like a standard build. Looks very, very standard. Oh, still no Spore. Yeah, still no Spore. The third base, 2 more drones go down. Can we get 3? We can. Can we get 4? Oh, good. A little bit greedy here, and the Oracle does go down. So too much greed out of Shameless. Does get 4 probes, 4 drones in the end, but was not worth it. Not worth losing an Oracle. Oof. Again, the greed out of Shameless. The third Oracle has arrived after losing the first one. He's also making a 4th Oracle. So is rebuilding the Oracle that otherwise went down. Forge on the way. Twilight Council standard follow, most likely +1 and blink. Meanwhile, MiniZerg does go for his lair. As the Oracles are still looking for a way in. At the same time, Adepts they threaten to shade towards the natural. Remember, these are vanilla Adepts. No upgrades. Just looking for an opportunity. As the Oracles they threaten the third. From here, waiting to see if it's going to be blink or charge. We're leaning towards blink here, but never mind. It's going to be charge. Okay. So +1 in charge. It's going to be much earlier timing out of Shameless. Oh, the 4th base is going to be cancelled. Massive pickup. That is brutal. That's going to slow MiniZerg down quite heavily, actually. So the difference between charge and blink. Blink usually allows you to be active on the map to apply pressure, to threaten the 4th base, to shut down overlords, and to just keep the Zerg player in check and pin them back. Meanwhile, going into charge is much more aggressive. It's much more committed, much more dedicated. It does allow Shameless to have an earlier charge timing, and most likely with a couple of Archons as well. And a player that's skipping Roaches and skipping Banelings will have a very difficult defense. Now, I believe I saw a... Oh, we have a Hydrogen. Okay, there it is. I was like, I believe I saw a Baneling Nest. So we do have a safety Baneling Nest, so there is going to be an answer and a way to defend against mass charge lots. If we morph them in. You're in a nice position here with the Oracles. They big away so many Lings. That's going to be 15 Lings going down. Adepts shit into the mineral line, 2 more drone kills, not bad. Better trades for Shameless. Does have some better trades. Now, I assumed that we were going to be going for a charge Archon timing, but as we can see here, Storm is on the way. So it looks like Shameless is going to wait for Storm. So he's not going to be as assertive here. Again, +1 and charge are about to finish up, but he's not hitting that timing. Shameless just chilling. Calming down. I do think that that timing would have been very successful. Oh, as we find more drone kills, that's going to be another 4 drones going down. These Oracles, they've gained a lot of value so far this game. Yeah, Shameless. Now Storm is done. He can start to push. He can start to do that. And we'll see if he can be stopped. Now, thankfully, MiniZerg, he just saw the Chargers. He saw the Archons. He's aware of the High Templar. He knows what's coming. He needs Banelings. He does need defensive Banelings. Ooh, as he will lose every single Zergling here. 8 Banelings are morphing in. It's going to be close. Remember, these are going to be slow Banes. And how many Storms are there with this? 5. Oh, God. It's 5 Templar, 5 Storms. Warping gets into the main. Warp Prism gets in. Warping finishes. The Lings are being dealt with. Oh, nice concave. And nice arc. Storm does land. First Storm lands. Second Storm mainly zones. There's 3 Storms left. Zealots are still wreaking havoc. They've raked through all the Zerglings. Now getting on top of the Queens. Oh my god. Plus chance to use, but a Queen will still go down. Shameless backs up. I feel like he could have kept pushing forward and kept pressuring the main army, especially with 3 extra Storms. But for now, though, he just pulls back. He pulls back. Gets extra Warpins. He did out-trade. And now we're getting towards the mid-game. Shameless up to 80 workers. So is MiniZerg. MiniZerg, he wants to be the aggressor here. So he does move out. He's very Hydra heavy. It's a little bit concerning. There's 29 Hydras. What's concerning here is that typically and ideally you do need a buffer for your main army. The Hydras are meant to be the backbone. They're not meant to have too many. What I mean by that is Hydras on their own are very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. They're fragile. Again, this is a very expensive army, and it's very again, it's very fragile. Gotta be careful. We got 16 more Hydras on the way. Okay. Interesting. It's a lot of Hydras. Warping back into the main. More drones are going down. Hydras are getting caught out. Oof. And GG. Yeah, GG gets called with that. Shameless takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A bit of a shaky early to mid game there from MiniZerg. Again, he was losing so many workers, so many drones. If you remember, he was forced against his 4th base as well. So in the lead up to the mid game, he was stumbling his way there. He was stumbling his way into the mid game. Too many losses, too many hits, too many blows, setting himself behind. His army composition was also a little bit lacking. It would make a lot more sense if you're going that many Hydras to go for a faster lurker den. Even pre-hive, even like pre-hive lair tech lurkers would make sense there, just to be able to have some kind of anchor point to the army. But instead he did go purely Lingbane Hydra, but very heavy Hydra instead, which again is a very kind of fragile composition. And in the end, GG well played. It was just torn apart. I mean, it was less so about the main engagements, to be fair, and more so just about the harass. The harass got out of hand, got out of control. GG. GG, well played. With that, Shameless, let's take a lead in the series, and we'll see if MiniZerg can time things up as we get into game number 2. Hope so. Do hope so, as game 2 is going to be on Title Citadel. Let's go. Music is loud? Oh. That's weird. Hold on. Music is loud. Everything's fine on my end, but so he's not going to be as assertive here. Again, +1 and charge are about to finish up, but he's not hitting that. He gets in, warp-in finishes, links are being dealt with. Oh, nice concave. Okay, nice arc. Storm does land. Yeah. Okay, Helman. I think there's something else that's affecting that, but we'll do our best. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the Blue Protoss player, the Blue Protoss himself, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself from the land of Ukraine, representing Hokago T team. It is MiniZerg. I'm messing with some of the audio levels. Oh, but here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so from here we're going to calm down. Once again, when it came to the previous game, it mainly came down to the harassment there. MiniZerg was struggling to keep up with the Adept harass, with the Oracle harass, with the movement, with the rotations. So we'll see if he can keep up. If we do plan on going for a standard game as well. True. There's always a chance that we can throw down an earlier Roach Horn, earlier Baneliness, earlier timing attack is going to be available here. But it's going to be more difficult on Title. Title Citadel here is a larger map of the map pool, longer resistance by ground, has some more isolated bases, that is true, but that's usually an issue in a longer game. Getting up to 3, 4, 5 bases, that's where that can be more of a problem. But we'll see if we even get there. It might be that specific song. Okay. Catching up. MiniZerg, any relation to Baby Marine? maybe they're like long lost cousins. It's possible. They're all related to Hero Marine. True. Do they need to transition to lurkers? Hydras alone not enough. Kind of. Either a faster transition to lurkers or commit harder into Ling Bane. If you recall, like my big criticism as to MiniZerg's army was it was too Hydra heavy. And if you're going that heavy into Hydras, then I feel like a transition into lurkers faster would make more sense. Otherwise, have more Ling Bane, right? So get to number of Hydras for transitioning. Surely you sort of have like 12 to 16 Hydras or so. Yeah, 12 to 16 is fine. MiniZerg had like what 25 to 30. He had a lot of Hydras, man. A lot of Hydras. If you remember towards the end, he was actually making 16 more Hydras in the production tab. Like it was very Hydra heavy. And Hydras are nice. Hydras are good. Hydras are more vulnerable and more susceptible to storms just because they're less mobile than Ling Bane, of course. But on top of that, they're also very fragile, and you usually do need a more Ling Bane or Roach heavy composition to help be that wall, to help be that protective buffer zone for your more fragile units like Hydras. Typically. Here we go. Oh, I should also say that there are always exceptions to the rule. Like, for example, like there are some Hydra all-ins you can go for. I know that Solar and Shin, they have mixed them in, not just against Terran, but against Protoss as well, where they do go up to this like heavy Hydra counts, but they hit very fast, very quickly, and they try to end the game with it. So there are definitely like niche styles and niche builds that you can go for that can rely on a higher Hydra counts, but usually they're all-ins. For now it is going to be the same build. Eva Chamber +1 melee into Lair. It looks like Ling Bane Hydra. Technically this could be Ling Bane Muta. That's another option here available to MiniZerg. But especially on Tactical Citadel, like no shot. Like I don't know if this is the best map for Mutas, especially because the bases are so spread out. We're leaning more towards Hydras again. Meanwhile, Shameless, speaking of same builds, +1 in charge, and I believe this time a slightly earlier Templar Archives. But once again, the goal should be for Archons, might even be to rush into Storm again. And fun fact, skipping Blink Stalkers and going straight into Charge, Archon, and Storm like this is supposed to hard counter Ling Bane Hydra. Or Ling Hydra specifically. Thankfully, we have a safety Bailey Nest. That will help. Lings, they do thread in the base. And they don't quite break through the Stalker. Let's see how Raynor are legit doing if they go that tech path and face a lot of storms. I mean, they usually just commit into more Ling Bane. They often don't rush into lurkers unless they plan on going into the late game. Like if they're playing the late game, then they will prioritize lurkers. Next should be small sentry. Ah, no. I mean, we had Pig Baby. That's close enough. That's also related to Baby Marine, of course. Obviously. Yeah, as we do see Shameless committing actually this time, not waiting for Storm, committing with Charge on Archon. Oh, and this is going to be a tougher defense here. We have a couple of Bailings trying to waddle in. They're stuck behind the Hydras. Oh, the Bailings, get in there. No. Yeah, they're trying to push forward. Stasis Trap does go off. No major connections. And with that, MiniZerg, he should defend. He will be able to hold on here, but at a cost. He'll bleed out how many exactly? Bleeding out 45 Zerglings, 11 drones in total, and so far, not a bad trade for Shameless. He gets away only trading out Zealots. He saves the Archons. And remember, he was not all in. He has a 4th base behind this, and he has Storm and +2 on the way. If you recall, we assumed that Shameless was going to be going for that kind of push in Game 1, but he didn't. He was a little bit more passive in Game 1. Here, he saw more opportunities. Breaks in, gets a drone, pulls away. Shameless, he is stabilizing on his 4 bases. MiniZerg able to apply some pressure. And he does try to move out. From here, going to be forced back. Has to re-drone, has to resaturate. Say about a 1-to-1 trade, that's good for Zerg. I would push back against that. Typically, the Zerg player wants to be up in expansion and up in workers, up in economy, because they do have a less efficient army. So in this position, Shameless is in a stronger place, especially as he is now saturating his 4th base completely. Your 4 base setup here is relatively secure if you can keep up with the movement of your opponents. This is where the pressure's on MiniZerg to start to be active, to start to rotate, whether it's hitting the 4th base, the 3rd base, back and forth. This is also why there's a lot of static defense. We got cannons and a High Templar here on the left hand side, but there are opportunities here for MiniZerg to maybe find some damage as Shameless is hunkering down. Yeah, he's he's throwing down more cannons, more shield batteries. He's fortifying his 4th base. It's going to become that much more difficult to break. And soon we might even see Sky Toss, right? Fleet Beacon, Stargate, we'll keep our eyes open. Actually, instead going for a second Robo. Interesting. A second Robo indicates that we're going to be committing to a ground composition, potentially into Colossus as well. But at least Mass Immortal. So Immortal, Archon Storm. It's a very robust army. Very robust. And Shameless is parked here in between the bases, trying to rotate in time and react in time to wherever the attack happens. Speaking of, laying a bait at the stasis. Devastation bit's going to be on the way. Now we're thinking about Hive Tech and Lurker Tech. You could argue this is a bit of a late decision just because I don't see MiniZerg breaking these bases. Like it's not going to happen. And there it is. There is the Fleet Beacon. So Fleet Beacon into Sky Toss. Shameless, he's taken to the skies. We are getting into a longer and later game. He does go for the center expansion. Now, this does also give MiniZerg some opportunities. This space is more open, much more exposed. We have multiple angles of attack. This is where potentially MiniZerg can strike if he survives the move out. Yeah, Shameless posturing. Again, a very, very beefy army here. We see MiniZerg setting up first round. Let's go. You're coming in from behind. He wants those High Templar. He wants the Templar. Massive storms. Templar, they do get away. Just barely. One High Templar goes down. And there's still 3 storms. Oh, second Templar falls. Nice snipe. Yeah, very nice snipe towards the end. And Shameless, he does hold on. Again, a nice attempt to surround. Ooh, but the Prism gets into the main. Yeah, Prism gets in. Shameless pushing forward. Now, bearing in mind the War Prism is not with the main army. And we're running out of storms. There's only 2 left. There's 1. There's 2. That's it. Only 2 storms. Immortals are exposed. We need more Zerglings. The Hydras are trying to hold their own. There we go. They force the recall. Gets 1. Gets 2 Immortals. Nice defense. Nice defense and expensive losses for Shameless. And now suddenly, I don't see him holding this position. He's just now throwing down cannons. We have the Mothership on the way. MiniZerg, he's pushing. And where's the splash damage? The Archon count was reset. We have a couple of fresh High Templar warping in. There's 1 storm currently with the army. Just the 1 storm, mainly on the Bailings. Hydras, they start to step forward. And hey, if there's no Archons or High Templar to worry about, the Mass Hydra can work. A-Star steps in, and he breaks his expansion, also denying the Mothership. Mothership is denied. And again, Shameless, he was in a good position. He took a good fight. He avoided the surround, but pushing further in, it was too ambitious. It was too ambitious considering he only had 2 High Templar. He only had 2 High Templar at the time. He only had 2 storms. He got greedy, Pappy. He got greedy. And now it's on MiniZerg to break these armies, or to break these bases, I should say. Does catch one of the cannons. Yep, slowly breaking through. Again, Shameless just doesn't have the army supplies to defend both locations. Oh, the High Templar gets 2. Yeah, 2 Henji High Templar get sniped. Very nice snipes. Oh, MiniZerg does lose an expansion. but still worth it. Picking up more Archons, more High Templar. Even here, catching another Templar full of energy. And again, MiniZerg, he's so close to just breaking Shameless. Shameless trying to work towards Sky Toss, but making one carrier at a time. Like, it's not going to be ideal. So he does time to collapse in. No detection. Okay. Yeah, no detection. Cloak is activated. Shameless, he's holding on. He's holding. Now, can Shameless stabilize? I mean, he is close. The problem with going to Sky Toss, of course, especially in this position, takes a long time. Takes a long time to produce these units. Is that a mortal trapped? Okay, no, we're good. Shameless already moving out. Bold move. He does have 4 High Templar. He has 4 Templar. As we mentioned before, he's exposed. He can be flanked. Lings here for a run by. All slipping into the main. Yeah, they do slip in. Ooh, massive storms on the Hydras. Jesus. Yeah, storm does land. Lings, they bust into the main base. Probes are going down. Yeah, 17, 18. Soon to be 20 probes. Oh no! It's soon to be 20 probes. It leaves the High Templar idle. And with that, MiniZerg, he collapses in. Started stepping forward. Does overextend. It was amazing catching all the High Templar, but he will lose the entire ground army. MiniZerg overextending, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, he committed too hard. Misjudged the strength of all these immortals. And suddenly everything's swinging in favor of Shameless. He's breaking out. He's breaking out across the map. Now, he still has no High Templar with the army. What I spoke to soon, we have 2 Templar coming in, 2 Storms. But not just that, he also has a bigger support buffer here. That's a great. He has a larger army. Breaks through the expansion, breaks down the mineral line. MiniZerg, he's in trouble. No. Casito, papi, casito. Yeah, he almost had it. Oh, almost. But with that, we have the final storm. We have how many? 8? 9. We have 9 immortals coming in. GG gets called, and Shameless Nobles out of control. He will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. With that, Shameless, he does take a 2-0 lead in the series. But again, MiniZerg, he did well for himself. He did very, very well, especially when it came to punishing Shameless's move out. He was a little bit overconfident. I'm referring to the moments when MiniZerg surrounded the army. Shameless pulled back. He denied the surround. He survived with 2 High Templar. And then he kept going. It was crazy. He kept pushing after that. And that's when we saw Shameless lose his army, lose his High Templar, recall only 3 Immortals, and lose the 5th base as well. Everything was looking up there for MiniZerg. Everything was looking up, denying the base, stifling the economy. Even towards the end, going for the Ling run by into the main and into the natural. He killed, what, 18, 19 probes. Unfortunately, he did overextend against the main force of Shameless though. We saw that he was able to push forward. He caught another 2 or 3 high, it was 3 High Templar in the center at the 5th base. It was really impressive. He moved forward, got 3 Templar, and then he kept going. He kept pushing into the mothership, into the 9 Immortals, and GG well played. MiniZerg, he got a little bit too excited, maybe misjudged the strength of his army, misjudged the strength of his opponent's army, and with that, Shameless does take a 2-0 lead. And now we're getting to game number 3, and we'll see if we can bring it back. Let's go. Let us go. As we are loading into that 3rd game, and I'm hoping for a longer series. I'm hoping for a back and forth, but the pressure is on. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner here of 10,000 feet, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the Ukrainian Zerg representing MiniZerg, or representing Hokago T Team. It is MiniZergUA. Here we go. And again, MiniZerg, he was playing that well. Like, he had a really strong mid game specifically, where he was able to punish Shameless, contain him on 4 bases, and even had some nice run bys as well. But again, he did overextend. It took a really rough fight, and you saw how quickly everything just snowballed out of control. How quickly the army could push into the bases and push into MiniZerg. GG. GG, well played. From here, MiniZerg does go for the center expansion, force take the unnatural natural. A bit of an awkward setup here for MiniZerg, and we'll see if he tries to take advantage of this. If we were casting some of the more active and aggressive players out there like Shin or like Rainer, taking this forward base would indicate aggression and can lead into a German taxi, just because you can spread creep even faster across the map. But I don't know if MiniZerg is that comfortable being that aggressive. He may just play into a standard game just with an exposed expansion. We'll see. We shall see. Oh. As from here, we are going to be building up. It's almost too strong, don't think that's fair. Just to reiterate, just to make it clear, when it comes to that last game, Storm wasn't what won Shameless the game there. It was MiniZerg overextending. If you remember, MiniZerg, he actually denied Storms. Like, he was doing a really good job sniping High Templar. He sniped 3 High Templar towards the end. He sniped, I want to say, up to like 5, 6 High Templar in total. There were some really nice moments there for MiniZerg, like surrounding the army, catching the army. It was just MiniZerg getting too excited after sniping the High Templar, after denying the Storms. So you can have that opinion. I don't think that's necessarily applicable to that last game. Unless you're referring to the overall play style. Like, Storm is better when it comes to more defensive play, especially with the new iteration of Storm. That is true. It does help when it comes to defending with a lower army count. Here we go. As from here, there's going to be Stargate open, Stargate into Oracle. And we'll see if MiniZerg goes to the same style. So far, every game he's going +1 melee into Ling Hydra, into Ling Bane Hydra. Has been the go-to. Very quickly, I guess, when it comes to the overall meta that we've been seeing, I would say that the style that MiniZerg has been playing is very 2025. Like, going +1 melee and going to Ling Bane Hydra. If you do watch the highest level play at the moment, so players like Shin, Solar, players like Cyril, Rainer, they've actually stopped doing this because of the rise in prominence of early charge timings, early charge builds, and of course charge into Arc and into Storm. They've actually been going for more Roach heavy openers, into more either lurker heavy play or even muta play, like mixing that in. It's become less common to actually go into +1 melee, just because of how the meta's been shifting. But now though, 4 drones, 5 drones, oh Jesus, 5 drones getting caught out. He wants the queen, he wants it, he's gonna get it. There's no transfuse, yeah, there's no energy for a transfuse. Crazy damage early on, and where is that Eva chamber, by the way? MiniZerg, he's droning up. We're getting up to 5 minutes here already. Behind this, Twilight Council and Forge, we do have our standard follow-up, but MiniZerg is missing tech. He's got an excess of gas. What do you have for us? Oh, okay, for the first time this series, going for the Roach one instead. Okay. If you recall, we were just talking about this, but every game, game 1 and game 2, it's been the Eva chamber into melee. This time, a Roach one. So MiniZerg, he does want to switch things up. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So we were just talking about this. To reiterate, we were discussing how because of the rise in prominence of early charge timings, we have been seeing the top Zerg players go less and less into +1 melee, just because the Ling Hydra is more vulnerable to these charge storm heavy compositions. So it makes sense to go Roach. Finally, we see Roaches out of MiniZerg, but Shameless isn't going charge, he's going into Blink, which is more ideal against Roaches. That's unfortunate. So we go, +1 is on the way, a little bit late. But we got Shameless building up his Stalker army. MiniZerg, if you notice, he's cutting workers here at 60, so he does run up to almost 3 base saturation, massing up roaches, spreading creep, and it looks like he wants to go for an all-in. Looks like he's going for the all-in here. Because the upgrades were delayed for Shameless, he's going to be vulnerable here. There we go, the mass roaches are, we're amassing. The all-in is coming. We spoke earlier about the potential to make use of this forward base and make use of the creep. That's essentially what's happening here. Due to the expansion, due to the creep, this will hit faster. Stalkers they catch at the Overlord. Mass roaches are moving out. And we're going for the base trade. Okay. The Queens are trying to hold their own. A couple of reinforcements as well. At the same time, MiniZerg, he's going across the map. He's going for the third. He commits badly. There's a recall. It does force a recall back home. There's one shield battery. Oh, a bit of a panic link. But the roaches are going to be shut down. Like, as we mentioned, like in a head-on fight, this many Stalkers, they just have their way with these roaches. Oh no. The roaches are being zoned away. Remember, behind this, there's no drones, no saturation, there's no fourth base. MiniZerg is all in. He has to end the game with this army. The Queens are coming. They're waddling across the map. They're already here. And again, this comes down to the blink micro, to the blink control. There is a stasis behind this. Gets spotted. Nice movement, nice control by MiniZerg. Baits out the stasis. So we have another stasis trap. Once again, oh, it does bait it out. Immortals are on the way. Lings are making the way into the mineral line. And does he have enough? Can he do it? Can he do it, Pat? Oh my god, Bile lands. Yeah, Biles are landing. Roaches, they start to step in. Lings, they recapping the mineral line, and every probe is going to go down. And here come the Ling reinforcements. They come in from behind. And MiniZerg has done it. MiniZerg, he has done it. We have the Ling reinforcements. Breaks the third base, pushing in towards the natural. Shameless doing what he can. He's trying to get out of here. But again, you can see the strength of the Zergling here. Like, Roach Ling is so much more potent here against a Mass Stalker composition. And with that, breaks the main army, takes down the Stalkers. The third base is going to go down. I believe there was an Immortal. Yeah, just now popping out. We have an Immortal, but it's too late. It's too little too late. Third base falls. Shameless, he will break out. Okay. Without the Immortal, he will clean up all these roaches. Cleans up the roaches. He does preserve a good amount of Stalkers. Actually, surprisingly so. I thought these Stalkers would just go down, but no. In the end, they barely recall back home. Impressive moves here by Shameless. This means that Shameless is still in this game, by the way. He's still in this. Retaking his third. And MiniZerg is joining. MiniZerg is joining up. Now, where exactly are we exactly? MiniZerg's fourth base is late. You can definitely argue we could have gone a faster fourth base as he was all-inning, just so we could have extra larva. True. It's very common to go for a 3-base all-in with a fourth. So the fourth was delayed. MiniZerg, he knows he's double expanding. Still has the stronger economy. And MiniZerg still has a lead. What is a little bit scary though is that Shameless almost has Storm. Like, Storm is going to be a big factor, of course, and can allow him to take a fight even it went down in supply, depending on the engage. Oh, Lings, they get in. Oh, no shield battery. Yeah, there's no battery. Getting 1, 2, 3 High Templar. Aye. 3 Templar go down, forcing an Archon as well. Again, we were praising MiniZerg last game for doing things like this, sniping High Templar. So, never mind. The comeback potential isn't as there anymore. And, well, what should have been 4 Storms here to defend, now there's only 1. There's not much Roach Hydra, though. Yeah, MiniZerg, I don't think you should be here. We should not be here. We're overextending. MiniZerg, no! There's no reason to be here. Once again, he misjudges the strength of his army. Even without Storm, like, there's plenty of Stalkers here. So a rough fight for MiniZerg. We gotta calm down. Like, okay, so winding it back here, there's no reason to push in as a Zerg player. As a Zerg player, just drone, chill, get up to 80 workers, and then look to max out. You're already ahead. You already killed the third base once. You don't need to do it again. Round buys is fine, but we gotta calm down. Gotta calm down, MiniZerg. Calm down. Oh, that like moments like this, you're punishing an army moving out. Lings, this time they do not get on top of the High Templar. Oh, as Hydras they come in from behind. You do tank a storm. We have more storms coming in. Yeah, brutal storms on the Hydras. This was okay for MiniZerg just because the Stalkers are out of position. Oof. Takes a massive storm to the face. Does snipe one High Templar. And again, MiniZerg, he's playing with fire. If one wrong move, if he takes one bad fight, if he loses this army, then he will trigger a counterattack. Oh, gets the Archon. Oh god. He tried to snipe the High Templar. He failed to do so. That's a massive chunk of Hydras going down. As you can see here, that was 9 Hydras for 1 Stalker and 2 Zealots. Like, that was, like these trades have not been worth it with MiniZerg. It's not been worth it. Just calm down, Bappy, calm down. As he has drawn up to 80. So he's drawn up to 82. Now we're taking up. Oh. We have the Infestation Pits, we have the Lurker Den. These are all good things. MiniZerg, he's just taking up. Now, technically, there is a window. There is a window in time. Nah, Shameless can't hit it. I was going to say there's a window where Shameless can maybe try to break out before Hive Tech Lurkers. And there is a window here, but unfortunately, Shameless doesn't really have enough to work with. He needs to stay at home and get his 4th. Once he establishes his 4th base, he can start to max out, but by then there should be Hive Tech Lurkers. And that should contain the Protoss. Now we get the Fleet Beacon on the way, and Shameless is thinking about Skytoss, but Hive Tech Lurkers should hit before Skytoss. Hive is on the way. And very Hydra heavy. Yo, we got 40 Hydras, Pappy. But here we go. We have used to them. Here come the Lunkers. Going for Nidus as well. 10 Lurkers morphing in. Stalkers are gaining ground, or at least denying creep. Oh, the High Templar should not be here. Shameless. What's going on? As he's High Templar exposed, MiniZerg, he wants them. He gets 1. He gets 2. 3 High Templar go down. Again, the I don't know what they were doing out there. No, he's gonna lose to 4. Oh my god. 4 High Templar go down. Shameless. What's going on? Yeah, Lurkers, they bust into the natural. Yeah, they bust in. Within range of the Nexus, another Nidus into the main. Hydras, they push forward, and Shameless is just being torn apart. He's being torn apart here. He cannot keep up. Again, he has no storms. As he also the High Templar. Lost all the Templar. Lurkers are popping off, knocking down bases. Getting into the production. This Nexus should go down. Oof. Yeah, catching out gateways, Twilight Council. Oh god, the army's trying to respond. There is an observer. Yeah, there's one observer with the army, but an awkward defense. Nice storm on the Hydras. Yeah, we're getting messy. It's a very messy. Oh god, no! Where's the detection? The observer's too far back. Oh no. And GG gets called. GG gets called, and MiniZerg, he does take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Winding it back, MiniZerg, he pops off with the all-in. Remember, he cut workers at 60. It was a 60 drone at 3 base all-in out of MiniZerg with Roach laying at Queen. With that, he was able to barely break the 3rd base, break the economy, break the army as well, and break Shameless. From there, Shameless, he survived. He survived the all-in on 2 bases. He barely held on, and it was a really rough road to recovery. There were some nice moments, the opportunities created by MiniZerg, basically, where MiniZerg was overly aggressive, overly assertive, and was throwing away a bunch of Lings, he was throwing away a bunch of Hydras. It did give Shameless a bit of an opportunity to maybe recover, but thankfully MiniZerg still joined up to 82. He's still double expanded. He's still teched up into Hive and into Lurkers as well. GG. GG, well played. Oh. Did make it maybe a little bit more difficult than it needed to be, but MiniZerg, he got there. He got there in the end, and with that, we have a back and forth. We have a series, and can we bring this all the way to the ace match? Let's go. Gonna be loading into the Old Republic. As spawning in the bottom hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Ukrainian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Hokago T-Team. It is MiniZergUA. Here we go. Oeste Anso. Saludos, papi. Saludos. Bienvenidos. We have a series. We have a series. We have a series. Have a back and forth. Now, what I will say about that last game, that all-in did hit harder as well, especially because it was on 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is one of the smallest maps in the map pool, has the shortest rush distance out of all the maps in the map pool as well. So those kind of Queen Walks, those Roach all-ins, they do hit harder on maps like 10,000 feet, on maps like Tourmaline, and on maps like Ruby Rock. Those are the 3 maps that come to mind. Here we're loading into the Old Republic. That kind of aggressive play is weaker here on the Old Republic, so we expect to see something different. We'll see if MiniZerg can keep it up and can bring it to Shameless in a more standard game, assuming we play standard. Here we go. Here we go. When it comes to Shameless, now it comes down to a little more scouting, reacting, getting a read on what MiniZerg is up to. If he does go for an all-in, then Shameless needs to scout this and realize this further ahead of time, as it was a late realization from Shameless last game. Was late. But here we go. Since a true Protoss, no shame. True. There is no shame, baby. You're Shameless. He's the realest Protoss out there. Ay. As we have our Stargate opener out of Shameless. Gonna be settling in. From here, should be opening up double, triple Oracle into a 3rd base. Really, my eyes are on MiniZerg. I'm not really too fond of the idea of him going into +1 melee again, but it has been his go-to, so we're expecting the early Evo chamber. We're expecting +1 melee. We'll see. So power players are building up. The Oracle is going to be on the way. No Void Ray. We haven't really seen Shameless mix things up too much here this series. Obviously, last game we did see Blink for the first time. What do you have for us this time? Baby, yeah. Let's catch you up in the chat. De nada, papi, de nada. As we have our two adepts, they can one-shot drones, they can even one-shot those, or even cash out those tumors. There we go, 2 tumors go down, not bad. Oracle dips in, gets a singular drone, gets 2. 2 drone kills all over here, not bad damage here by Shameless, getting some creep tumors, picking up a couple of workers, saves the Oracle, and we're reaching that 4-minute mark. We should be seeing our tech of choice soon. We are getting there. There's our Twilight Council. Oh, this is a much earlier Twilight Council though. Okay. Este Shameless. Evo Chamber out of MiniZerg. Again, most likely into +1 melee into Ling Hydra. That is concerning because Shameless, this looks like Glaive Adepts. Now, technically, there are some niche builds where you can go into Blink and then turn this into like a 3-base, 8-gate all-in. There are some early charge timings as well. But in a standard game, this early of a Twilight Council typically means Glaive Adepts. But we'll see. Keep an eye on Shameless. Ooh, early Blink. Okay, never mind. As you mentioned, there are some niche builds that do incorporate early Blink in such a way. It's going to be a very, very delayed Forge. So late Forge, late +1, early Blink timing instead. What does this mean? Now, if we were loading into the last game, I would favor Shameless. Blink would be done in time to defend against an all-in. If MiniZerg was going for an all-in, then Blink would be a factor defensively. The option here, of course, is you can use this aggressively early on to apply pressure, to hunt down Overlords, and to apply pressure specifically to the 4th expansion. The downside, of course, of this build is late +1. So +1, +2 are going to be delayed in favor of earlier Blink. And we'll see what Shameless can accomplish with it. We'll see. Meanwhile, there's that Bailey nest. Getting 2 nests. Hopefully we realize in time. But again, here's the move out. And again, this is earlier than normal because Blink is earlier than normal. So earlier push, catching out Zerglings. Again, applying pressure to that forward 4th. Behind this, we're taking up and taking gases, so this is not going to be an 8-gate all-in. Shameless is working towards Storm. It's working towards Storm here. Picking up more Zerglings. Ooh, catching a Queen! Yeah, 1 Queen goes down. Did miss a transfuse. Drones pulled away. That's going to be 5 drone kills already. At the same time, I'd say shade in towards the 3rd. Distracting MiniZerg. Oh, and I don't know if he can save the base. It's getting close. Okay, there's 22 more links coming in. Baits out the stasis. Not bad. MiniZerg is trying to hold on. Barely trying. And barely is not. Yeah, the hatchery's being targeted. Oh my god, it's so close. 10 HP. 1 more shot. No shot. Just send in the boys. Send in the Oracle. But MiniZerg, he barely hangs on to his 4th base. Just barely. Shameless, he pulls away. He backs off, claiming his own 4th. And hey, MiniZerg in a better position. Okay. Saves the expansion, getting his own 5th base. From here he can join up. But I mean, it's still within 1 shot range. Like 1 volley will kill that hatchery.
We meet our fate.
Shameless, I'm sure he's tempted to go for the dive. But he cannot. Lands Revelation. And from here, the game will continue. Now, what's important here? Shameless, sure, he did not kill the base, but he did kill 5 drones. He did trade well against the Lings. He was still trading more efficiently, and here comes the 2nd wave. Oh boy, this time with Storm. This time with Storm, with Archons. MiniZerg gets to pull off this Ling Hydra defense. No Bailings. Uh-oh. First Storm zones. You got 2 storms left. We have to make them count. Hydra's bunching up. 1 storm remaining. Sorry, 2. There's 4 at Templar in total. Okay. At the same time, Zealous drop into the bases. Ooh, yeah, Zealous into the main, Zealous into the natural. MiniZerg's distracted. Cast respond, and this is getting out of hand. At the same time, Oracle's a veer towards the left-hand side. Catching out more queens. Catching out more drones. And that's a lot of storms. A lot of storms are banking. Up. Shameless. A little bit late to react here. Had potential for some drone damage. Oof. Oracle goes down. MiniZerg holds. Does hold on. I do think there was definitely an opportunity there for Shameless, but Shameless, he's playing it safe. MiniZerg is at 200 supply. He's maxed out on Lingbane Hydra. He's on 30. He's on 42 Hydras. Again, he has a very high Hydra count. So race back home to defend. Shameless taking a bit of Sky Toss. This forward low ground expansion is exposed, is vulnerable. And that should be the target for MiniZerg. So break that expansion. I'm still not entirely sold on this high Hydra army. It's a bit much. And MiniZerg is not taking. Like, at this point, MiniZerg, he has a bank. He could be throwing down Infestation Bits, a Lurker, and Hive Tech, but he's choosing not to. He wants to just commit here and now with purely a Lair Tech composition. He's essentially going for an all-in. Yes, he's on 87 workers, but he has no further attack. Like, it's all or nothing. Either the Lingbane Hydra kills, or he dies trying. Storms his own away. Now, okay, now he starts to tech up. This is late, though. Yeah, late tech. As he has to make use of this army. 9 drones going down. The Zealous get out of hand. Oof. Yeah, massive storm on the Hydras. Hydras, they cannot engage, not like this. The flank, though. Oh my god, no, wow, 2 more storms. Yeah, massive storm on the Hydras. Jesus, every single Hydra goes down. Now we have the second army. Zealous collapse on top of the Hydras. There's no lings, no banelings. Oh, just now trickling in. It's close. MiniZerg, can he do it? Can he break through? Ah, no shot. Yeah. Not with these Zealous Warpins. Zealous, they will completely clean this up. At the same time, Zealous wreak havoc across the map. 24 drone kills, and the entire army goes down. GG gets called, and Shameless will claim the series 3-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, Shameless. He will claim the series. Again, as we mentioned, MiniZerg, he was basically all in. He chose not to tech up. He chose not to get ready for Hive Tech or for Lurkers. He chose to go completely all in on Lingbane Hydra. And as you saw, when the push failed, when the all-in failed, that did end the game. It wasn't just that, to be fair. There was some Zealots across the map that killed 24 drones, crippling the economy, ensuring that there was no way to try to macro out of that kind of game state. And again, we saw the Lingbane Hydra like just struggle trying to commit into the 4th base because it hit so late, and because it hit so, again, just so late. There were, what, 8 High Templar ready storms. They annihilated the Hydras on the right-hand side. GG. GG, well played. Of course, the Zealots across the map with the nail in the coffin just to ensure that there was no follow-up, there was no longer or later game. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Shameless, as Shameless, he will claim the series, and that leads us into our next semi-finals. Shameless does advance on to the grand finals, and MiniZerg gets knocked down to the bronze match. And up next, we have another PvZ, another Protoss vs Zerg matchup. It is going to be a PvZ between YoungYakov and Jumy. Oh boy. Meanwhile, a shout out to MiniZerg. Again, MiniZerg, he's a very young, up-and-coming player. He's still kind of rising through the ranks and still working his way up, comparable to the other players in the region. So really cool to see. Really cool to see him dedicating his time, improving as well, and getting better and better results. Hope to see more of MiniZerg in the future. I mean, we will. We'll see him in the bronze match. We will get there. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Ruby Rock. We have the German Protoss player. We have the green Protoss. Representing Streamer Zone, it is Jumy. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself, it is YoungYakov. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Now, in the previous series, Shameless was the heavy favorite, just because MiniZerg is still a young player that's still, again, rising through the ranks, is still leveling up as a player, improving as a player. Meanwhile, as we load into this series, it's kind of the opposite here. I would say that YoungYakov, he is the favorite player. YoungYakov, he's what, like top 5 Zerg in Europe? Maybe top 4? Like, who would I place above YoungYakov? I would place, obviously, Cyril, Rainer, and I would say Lambo. I would say that at the moment, a Laser and YoungYakov are comparable in skill, if not YoungYakov just straight up better than a Laser. But a part of that is because if you know anything about a Laser has been very inactive. He only recently started playing again because he did switch to AoE. He was playing a lot of Age of Empires 4 throughout the majority of last year, like referring to September, October, November, December. Was playing a lot of AoE, and more recently did return to StarCraft, but is still kind of finding his place. Referring to a Laser. So we'll see how Jumy keeps up, how Jumy compares. Now, Jumy is a very different kind of player. Shameless, if you notice, for the most part, he was playing very mid to late game oriented. We saw almost every game Shameless try to go into Sky Toss. Here, Jumy is a lot more aggressive, much more aggressive here. He can play the late game. Don't get me wrong, he can play late game, he can play into a longer game state, but he's also more willing to go for earlier tech, earlier aggression, more shenanigans. Jumy, he's a little more chaotic. A little more chaotic. And we'll see if we can catch YoungYakov off guard. YoungYakov, comparing him to G Machine, YoungYakov, he's a little more aggressive as well. True. I mean, both Jumy and YoungYakov, they're a little more aggressive, a little more assertive in the mid game. Yakov, of course, has a little more experience compared to MiniZerg. And at times and is often more decisive. There we go. But now Stargate opener out of Jumy. I was going for the Stargate. From here, looking to poke in. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is known for aggression, is known for all-ins, has a shorter rush distance by ground. So our eyes are going to be on our tech of choice for both players. So far, catching the tumor. Nice pick up there by Jumy. Jumy does threaten a dive. Yeah, StarCraft's in a good enough spot to start playing for the first time, population-wise, and the players to play at most ranks. Depends on the region. I would say that the population was relatively healthy in the European region and in the Korean region, the Korean server, the European server. I would say on the Americas server, it's a little bit smaller. Unfortunately, it's a little bit smaller, so you will still not have issues finding players, but I would say that you would most likely hit the same players more often, if that makes sense. But outside of that, like, you wouldn't have issues finding games. On peak hours, of course. Peak hours. Yeah. Still active. Still can find games. You could also argue like it's a good thing, I guess. Like if you're playing in a certain MMR range and you're playing like under like say the same 10 to 20 people, then you can like get accustomed to them and used to them. Like there's pros and cons to it, but you shouldn't have issues finding games unless you're playing at like under like 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, that sort of thing. Like if you're playing at proper DGen hours, like that's when the struggles can happen. Looking for games. For now, though, speaking of weird tech, it is going to be a Twilight Council follow-up into Forge. Meanwhile, it's going to be early charge. Charge +1 in towards Temple Archives and Storm. We saw something very similar out of Shameless, if you recall. So something similar out of our Protoss player. And on the flip side of things, we have YoungYakov not opening up +1 melee, but +1 range and roaches. As we mentioned at this during MiniZerg's series and during MiniZerg's games, it is a little more common nowadays not to go +1 melee, to instead go into these more roach-heavy styles, just because of the prevalence of charge-based follow-ups. So the meta has been shifting in the direction that we're seeing here from YoungYakov. Ooh, as YoungYakov, he does sneak out the Spire as well. Okay. Spire has been thrown down, potential for mutas, and we'll see if Jumy can scout. We'll see if he does figure out what's going on. Bearing in mind, because of Jumy's builds, what does he not have? Blink, right? Blink is a non-factor here, so he has limited anti-air. Mutas can do more damage if they go unscouted. This was really hard in the beginning, but very interesting. For sure, right, that's maybe a better question. As we are setting up Job Lords, oh my god, I assumed that we were going to be building up into a longer game. The Oracle does come in, the Oracle does confirm the Spire, but in the end, YoungYakov, he's set up for a push, he's set up for an all-in, he's going for the German taxi. Let's go. Job Lords are morphing in as we speak. Jumy has no idea, he's throwing down cannons back at home. But Jesus, he is well fortified at his third, though. That's a lot of cannons, a lot of shield batteries. Jumy, he's set up. Can he survive? Now, what's going to be hurting Jumy is the second Stargate and Phoenix production that will not help in the defense. Jumy's getting ready for mutas that aren't coming. Not yet, at least. As here come the queens. Here comes the all-in. It's all or nothing for Yakov. Behind this, going for the infestation pit. Interesting. Otherwise, oh my god, catching up both oracles. Oh my, Dark, calm down. Este YoungYakov. Bows down both oracles. Pushing further in. Storm is done. There are a couple of storms available. As we land the storm here on the queens. 1, 2 queens go down. As Yakov isn't gaining too much ground here. As time goes on, we have more immortals, more zealots. Yeah, Jumy, he cannot break through. He saw a drone. He does recognize. He's droning. He's taking. He's just trying to buy time with this army, trying to keep Jumy busy. But Jumy's taking up. We have a temple. We have the fleet being already done. Tempests are on the way. Yakov is switching into lurkers, into hydras. And we'll see who hits first. Who hits first? Oof. Yeah, as Jumy is making 2 tempests at a time. He's making use of that second Stargate. He's making use of it. Now, Yakov is actually in a decent position here. On the one hand, sure, like this army didn't really do enough damage. That is true, but on the same time, he has a decent economy and he already has the Spire. So when Skytoss is revealed, he already has +1 flyer attack. He can make Corruptors. He has access. So you can now just dancing with the army, bleeding out roaches. Which he wants to. He wants to get rid of those roaches, replace them with lings, hydras, and eventually, potentially, corruptors. So the hive is finishing up. But yeah, there is quite a bit of a learning curve to StarCraft, and I would say there's probably a high barrier to entry. Like the floor is quite high. But it's definitely an enjoyable experience, like if you're looking for that sort of thing. for sure. As Yakov throws away his roaches, at the same time distracting on the top side as well. Lurkers are revealed. He's building up his lurker counts. Greater Spire on the way as well. Okay. Again, Yakov, he has all the tech. Jumy is still stuck at home. Still stuck turtling. I don't believe Yakov has spotted the Tempest yet. I believe he's fully aware. Otherwise, we'd be seeing like +2 flyer attack or +1 flyer carapace instead of the Greater Spire. I feel like Corruptor upgrades would be more important. As Yakov, he is maxed out. He's got a decent lurker count. He can move in. Tempest are not quite in position. Oh, lurker really goes off. Nice snipe. Gets a Templar. Takes down the Templar, pushing further into the Nexus. Tempest are now revealed. And now Yakov has to trade. He has to trade out these roaches. Oof, that brutal storm here on the army. And does snipe another High Templar. There's one storm left. Down to 1. The base goes down. Oh my god. Yeah, catching out of the High Templar, and Jumy, he's struggling. Sure, he has all these Tempests, but he can't do much with them. Because here come the Corruptors. Corruptors are on the way. Again, they already have +1. Again, the early Spire is helping. It's helping back. And again, I just don't see Jumy stabilizing here. Like, it's it's just a very expensive army he's trying to build up, and he just doesn't have the economy for it. He's built up to 6 Tempests, which would be terrifying if we didn't have any Corruptors. I will say that the Corruptor count is quite low. It's only 6, so we could do with more. Once again, Lurkers, they distract on the top side. Main Lurker does hit the 4th. The main army does come in. 4th base should be denied. It's going to be close. Storm's A's turned away. Immortals, they distract some of those shots. Ah, he still gets it. Yeah, still gets it. Oh, that's a kill! That's a kill, not a cancel. Aye, aye, aye. That should not have happened. 9 more probes going down, and here come 10 more Corruptors, getting up to 16 Corruptors. And Jumy just cannot stabilize from here. Again, if he had a higher Archon count and a higher Storm count or High Templar count, then sure. But it's not there. Ooh, Mothership gets caught out. Yeah, massive volleys on the Mothership. Mothership goes down. Brutal pickup. Down to 6 Tempest. And 1 carrier. Workers, they move in once again. Tempest are getting called out. Yeah, going for the Parabomb. Oh, and with that, every Tempest should fall. Yeah, we just tanked the storm, so we... Aye, aye, aye. Does catch the carrier. Carrier goes down. Lurkers, they move in. Knocking down the front door. Again, there's just not much left here. These Lurkers are going to be cleaned up. True. Jumy, he's hanging in there. He's holding on. It's down to 1 carrier. And Yakov just has to calm down. Just calm down, build up his Hydras, rebuild his Lurkers. He only has 2 Lurkers, which is a bit of a concern. But it should be okay. Yeah, Yakov, he does rebuild. He remaxes with Ling Hydra. 6 more Lurkers morphing in, and Jumy just cannot break out. Again, despite the aggression earlier, despite the all-in that YoungYakov had gone for off of 70 workers, he was so quick to recognize that he could not kill, to drone, to tank, to get another expansion. To build up into lurkers. And did a great job of just buying time. He didn't overcommit, he just bought time with his roaches. With that collapsing on the final army. Okay, it's a decent Archon count, but it's too late, Pappy. It's too late. GG gets called, and YoungYakov takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. YoungYakov does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Jumy can recover and bounce back. I will say the last game was very unorthodox in a sense. I mean, Ruby Rock does favor aggression, favor all-ins, and we had YoungYakov just double down and commit with Roach Ravager. Jumy, he was able to hold on, but he was still contained, right? He was still contained on 3 bases. He had a very, very late 4th base that allowed YoungYakov to get ahead, to drone up, take more bases, and to tech into lurkers. GG. GG, all played. I would also say that the Spire did actually help YoungYakov. If you remember, the Spire got scouted, and Jumy reacted with the 2nd Stargate and with Phoenix production, whereas he didn't need them, not against a Roach all-in. Also did help. But with that, we're getting into game 2. YoungYakov takes the lead, and we'll see if Jumy can recover, bounce back, and make a series out of this. Let's go. So you're loading into Title Citadel. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the German Protoss player. We have the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself. It is YoungYakov. Un momento. Good. We are deep in the summer here. Hello, Senor Yakov. We came back just in time because we do have a standard hatch first. That is true. He throws down the Reaper, he throws down the spray, because here comes the hatch block. So it's going to be hatch first into a second hatchery, but across the map. Again, drone scouting is non-existent. Drone scouting is not a thing in higher levels of SC2. So this drone is much more sinister than that, setting up for the hatchery instead. Now I'm expecting a hatch block to delay the expansion, especially because there's no early pool. There's no early spawning pool, there's no early gases. Drone moves in, and the hatchery is thrown down. So when you think about this and you compare it to other matchups, this is the equivalent of an eBay block. Like an engineering bay block does delay the expansion and does force the unnatural. This here shouldn't force another base, but it does force a reaction, does force the boys to be pulled. So the boys are being pulled, Zealot's on the way as well. Second gateway is going to be another reaction here. This will be cancelled, this will be dealt with, but again, delays and throws a wrench in the works when it comes to Jumy's build. As he has 5 probes that aren't mining, and of course, no expansion. Now, bearing in mind that this will elicit a response, what we should be seeing here is, I believe it's second Zealot, 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts, or just 1 Zealot and 2 Adepts. Cybercore is done. Oh, Stalker's on the way. That is not normal. There's a cancellation. Does cancel just in time. So usually we would see Adepts, not Stalkers. What is the reason for that? Adepts, they shade, right? They shade across the map, and they get across the map very quickly, and they often do allow for a counterattack and some counter damage. At 2 Adepts, they can one-shot drones, and YoungYakov, he would have a hard time defending against Adept aggression. Jumy's going for the gold. Let's go. Gas steal on the main, just being as annoying as possible. Crazy move here by Jumy, but he's going for the gold waste to make up for his lost expansion. Yeah, it is a bold move. Ooh, that's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. Yakov does mess up towards the end. It does slip up. Jumy, he now has the money for it. Show us that Nexus. Ah, never mind. I'm sure he thought about it. He thought about it, but in the end, no, he does expand back at home. No gold base. Meanwhile, he counterattacks with only 1 Adept. The Stalker does at least zone away the Overlord, so it denies vision, denies scouting. and may even kill. Oh, barely not. Barely not. And we do see Jumy going for a very early Twilight Council. I'm leaning towards Glaive Adepts here. We're leaning towards Adepts. Could be Charge. But regardless, hyper aggression out of Jumy. And Yakov doesn't know because of the Overlord. And now we understand why we did open up Stalker instead of Adept. Jumy was less concerned about early Adept harass. He was more concerned about hiding his tech and hiding not Glaive Adepts, so going into a Dark Shrine. Okay. Going into DTs. So Dark Templar are going to be on the way. Cheeky move out of Jumy. And now he goes to the gold, going for the gold as a fast third expansion before the natural's even done. Okay. Again, just a lot of risks are being taken here. A lot of risks, a lot of gamble. A lot of gamba, baby, a lot of gamba. Which is what we expect out of Jumy. As we mentioned, like Jumy, he's a much more chaotic player compared to Shameless. No, you get scattered. Yeah, Yakov, he knows. He also reveals that he knows as well. Oof, there's no saving this. Yeah, no shot. But what's important? Do you see what I see? I see no lair. There's no lair currently for YoungYakov, but he throws down safety spore crawlers. Yeah, we got a spore in the main, we got a spore at the natural, and a spore at the third base. So safety spores. Of course, YoungYakov, he hasn't seen the main, but for all he knows, it could be a Stargate, right? It could be a Stargate, it could be an Oracle opener. So getting safety spore crawlers, I mean, is relatively standard. Third base is denied. And Yakov, he can cancel another. Yeah, he moves in, gets a full surround, does force a cancel. Surrounds the Zealot. Surrounds the battery. More links are flooding in, and Jumy, he's being torn apart here. He's just being torn apart. We have the Dark Shrine DTs that are welding across the map. But these are still some rough losses here for Jumy. And back at home, we already have those spores. They're already in position, for the most part. Yeah, DTs are welling in. There's 4 queens ready here at the third base. By now, if it was a Stargate, there would have already been an Oracle. So internally, Yakov just, again, crossing off what it could be. Lings are dealt with. Oh, yeah, DTs that don't find any damage. Overseer's on the way. Lair is now done. Getting into Overlord speed. And Jumy's in a very rough position. Oh. Again, going into the gold wasn't worth it, and the DTs, they weren't worth it either. So there's just a lot of tech, a lot of resources from Jumy that just kind of went down the drain. As he was forced to cancel not just the gold, but remember, he was forced to cancel his third as well. So his third is heavily delayed. Heavy delay on the third base. No harassing damage either. We have Yakov once again going for the Spire. And he's still draining. Still draining up, claiming a 4th expansion. Building up his Roach Ravager. I do think that Yakov could just commit here on 3 bases. Make nothing but roaches and knock down the third. But for now, he's still droning. He's droning, teching. He is moving out, but this is not committed. It's not committed. He shouldn't achieve too much here. Yeah, he just pokes in. He just pokes in. He's just posturing. Yakov's still trying to be active. He joined up to 70, taking extra gases, double expanding. And Yakov just getting further ahead. And Yakov is going to be the first to max out. He'll be the first to max out. Again, it's just a really rough position here for Jumy. It's very rough. Yakov, he dies on the Archon. He gets one. One Archon goes down. Now going for the other. At least trying to. Yeah, a bit of a messy assault here. The force fields do amazing when it comes to zoning back the army, but despite that, roaches, they still get in. They get 2 Archons. They get 2 of the 2 of the sentries. These roaches are going to be cleaned up, but they traded. Right, they did trade in the end. And as they get cleaned up, we have 7 mutants in production. Mutants are on the way. Yakov, his drone kind of still very healthy. He's actually droning up even further. The mutants are coming. Gonna be 14. 14 mutants on the way. Getting up to 16. Ay, ay, ay. And remember, there's... Oh, no, there is Blink. Okay, we do have Blink Stalkers. We have a couple of Archons. We have Stalkers in position in the main. Mutants, they hit the natural. Oof, catching a pylon. Depowering both Robos. And he just collapses in. Yeah, he just commits. Oof. And as all this is happening, we have roaches amassing. Right, we're building up into roaches, making sure we're ready with a ground counterattack. It's gonna be 13 dead probes. It doesn't get the contamination. Barely not. A bit of a rough movie with these mutas as they're going to be going down. Now losing 2-3 mutas. Ground army commits in. And he just commits. Yeah, he's just going for the fight. Diving on the Archon. Diving on the Stalkers. You do see Jumy, he was out of position with his ground army. He was out of position. Every Stalker goes down. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Lings, they wreak havoc. Mutas as well. And Jumy can't keep up. He cannot keep up. Not like this. GG gets called, and YoungYakov takes a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG all played. Again, a very bold build here by Jumy. Again, he was in a rough position because of the hash block, and remember, he chose to go for the ninja base. He chose to go for the gold. He also chose to rush into Dark Templar. Unfortunately, the gold base was scouted, and unfortunately, there were spores for the DTs as well. So the ninja base wasn't worth it. The Dark Templar weren't worth it. So Jumy fell behind due to this big investment into a greater economy and into some tech, which did not pan out. Did not pan out. Was not worth it. Did fall behind it. GG well played. With that, YoungYakov takes a lead in the series. He extends it, and Yakov is 1 game away from claiming the series. No boy. Uno más, papi. Uno más. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the German Protoss player. The pressure is on. He's down in the series. Can he bounce back? And can he make a series out of this? Representing Streamer Zone, it is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself leading the series 2-0. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. Here we go. So players are going to be building up. Building up, they're going to be settling in, and welcome and all to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is one of the larger maps of the map pool. Larger map, longer rush distance by ground. Again, the pressure's on Jumy here, and we'll see if he goes for a standard approach. We'll see if he goes for something else that's a little bit cheeky here. And again, he's known for these more quirky builds. He's known for being unorthodox. So we're expecting something a little bit different out of Jumy. Show us what you got. From Yakov, honestly, I would say that's similar to Title Citadel, but Winter Madness, I do like the idea of mutaplay, like going just, I mean, I say that every game actually we've seen Aspire. Some games we committed to mutas, others not. So I'm thinking about game 1 on Ruby Rock, but it has been Roach into Spire every game so far by YoungYakov. The opener was different last time. We did have the hatch block, but outside of that, we've kind of seen the same overall game plan from YoungYakov, and I would imagine that game plan is going to continue here. It's going to be a Roach Warren, a delayed Evo Chamber into Spire. We'll see. So we're kind of settling into Winter Madness. Again, this is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, a longer rush distance by ground, more defendable bases. If Jumy were to try to be more defensive and turtle up into Sky Toss, I could see it working here on Winter Madness. True. See that working. More so than Ruby Rock. But now Stargate opener. The Stargate is actually further back behind the mineral line. Interesting. Curious here. I mean, based on the rally across the map, it does look like an Oracle, but we could still open Void Ray. Typically, you wouldn't hide your tech behind the main base like this without good reason. So we'll see if he commits. It could just be just to make it more difficult to scout. That's it. Yeah, Stalker's on the way. True. So Stalker's on the way. This tells us that it should be an Oracle-based opener. The Stalker is designed to hunt down the Overlord and to deny vision. Oracle's on the way. And the Stalker is rallied to the Overlord. But I think the Overlord still scouts, to be honest. So I say pull away. Oh, no, the Stalker. No, the Stalker. You had one job. Yeah, the Stalker doesn't miss the Overlord. The Overlord comes in, and the Overlord gets a full scout of the main. In the end, this Stalker wasn't really worth it. It does mean that this third base is going to be a little bit weaker. Defensively, I mean. But YoungYakov, he isn't going for a link counterattack. So we're just calming down. We're droning up. Spores are on the way. Building up into the mid game. The next kind of big piece of tech we're waiting for here is the Twilight Council. And the Twilight Council timing. So eyes are on Jumy. Likewise, we're also looking for the timing of the Eva Chamber and the Roach Warren. So far, no chamber. Oh, that's going to be a Robo before Twilight Council. Okay. You have my attention. Meanwhile, that's going to be a 4:30 Roach Warren timing out of YoungYakov. Same as last game. So opening up Roaches. We're leaning towards eventually Aspire. Meanwhile, Jumy going for the early Robo here is indicative of aggression. This is indicative of a couple of different things. This could be Robo into Twilight Council, into Temple Archives, into Archon Drop. But if that was the case, we wouldn't see the Forge, I don't believe. Otherwise, this could be for a Soul Train-esque build, going for a higher Immortal count early on. Building up Immortals. Building up Sentries. If this was a later Twilight Council, I would assume Bay into Colossus production. But the Twilight Council was earlier, so leaning more towards Archons in charge. We'll see. No, he's going for the bait. Okay. He's going for fast Colossus. Again, the Twilight Council threw me off a little bit here. So from my understanding, typically you get the earlier Forge, and then you can hit a +2 timing with like 4 Colossus. Speaking of 4 Colossus, okay. Yeah, this is an old school build. We saw this, and it's a unique variation, to be fair. It does have its own little flair to it. But you used to see this a lot more frequently on the altitude map pool. That was like maybe 2 years ago. But if you watch the ZVPs on altitude, if you remember Showtime was very fond of this. I remember MaxPax and Skillus, they dabbled in it, and Creator was very fond of it as well. I would say like the more prominent Protoss players were Showtime and Creator, like embracing double Robo, double Colossus into +1 and +2, into these like quad Colossus +2 tidings. I want to say altitude was 2023. I need to double check. But now Lings ASIP in. Get a couple of probe kills. Let's see. Altitude Wikipedia. Just double checking. Yes, 2023. So that would have been when that kind of style was more prominent. This did fall out of favor. Did kind of fall out of fashion. One of the reasons why this works so well on altitude, and fun fact, there's another snow map, so it's a larger map as well, is because on altitude you could be very defensive and you'd be relatively safe because of the size of the map. It's similar here, where on smaller maps you could not get away with this. Like, it's just so greedy. Look at the ground army. Like, your ground army is so weak until your Colossus come into gear, until they pop out. So this is more viable on larger maps. Here we have our first 2, and again we should be getting up to 4, at least in my mind. Typically be up to 4 Colossus, 3rd Colossus on the way. Yep, there's the 4th. And again, these 4 Colossi should be hitting, oh, it does cancel for the Prism, but we should be hitting with +2 typically. +1 did just finish. Oh, let's go, the contamination. Okay, YoungYakov, he goes in, he scouts. He just saw the Colossus, by the way, an instant contamination on the Robo. Let's go. As this is going to be delayed, back at home, YoungYakov is taking up. He went Roach initially into Hydra, and now taking up into Hive and Lurker tech. Now, how do you counter this heavy Colossus army? Vipers. Like, Vipers are the go-to to abduct, to shut down the Colossi. Lurkers can slow this down, but Vipers will shut this down. And there it is. There's the first Viper. So Viper's on the way. +2 begins, but we're hitting pre-+2. And we're pushing with 3 Colossus. And again, it was a later Forge. So later Forge, later +2. And Jumy does move out. And this is hitting pre-Vipers. Remember, the Vipers are still in production. They still have to gather energy. Yakov, he's in a bit of trouble. He's got 5 Lurkers to defend. He has to buy some time. And the space may just go down. Yeah, Yakov, he cannot defend this expansion. At the same time, does go for the counterattack, going for the 4th base. Lurkers are exposed, losing 1, 2 Lurkers. And Jumy, he's doing it. Yeah, he breaks through every single Lurker. Lurkers go down. Now there's a backbone to the army. There's nothing to defend. You just keep going. You just keep pushing in. And sure, now we have Vipers, but what does it matter? Without Lurkers, the Vipers, there's no DPS. There's no damage output here to focus on the Colossus. Jumy is going for the kill. Now Yakov does turn back around with his army. He's racing back home. With some blinding clouds, maybe we can pull this off. Does abduct, gets 1, gets 2. Oh, awkward abduction here on the Prism. Saves one of the Colossus. Yeah, still 2 Colossi left. Oh, Prism goes down. Colossus as well. Very nice abduction. And Yakov is holding. Wow, Yakov, he does hold on. He does take down every single Colossus. Whew, very clutch hold. But did lose a mineral line, did lose 2 mineral lines and an expansion as well. So a very shaky defense here from YoungYakov. He does hold, he does retain an economy. He's on, what, 3 base saturation. What's important though is that Jumy, he himself does not have a 4th base. It was cancelled, if you recall. It was denied. So even though Jumy, he has a higher probe count, he's oversaturated, right? So his economy here is not as efficient. Switching into disruptors. Interesting. I have to say about that. Interesting here. Switching out of Colossus into disruptors. I mean, they're both still going to be targets for Vipers and for abductions. As Yakov, he's stabilizing it with his lurkers. Meanwhile, we have the fleet beacon on the way. This is late. This is going to slow Jumy down. It looks like he wants to build up into Sky Toss. But losing that 4th base was brutal. Like, this stifles Jumy so much. And Yakov, he's maxing out. He's maxing out. He still has 2 Vipers. Oh, crazy blink. Yeah, blinks into the lurkers. Losing 2 stalkers. Losing 3. Yeah, 3 stalkers go down. Roaches, they focus down the High Templar. Templar goes down as well. No storm. Disruptors are revealed, and that's going to be the main target for the Vipers. He wants those disruptors. Never goes off. Vipers are on the hunt. Gets 1. Takes down 1. Doesn't quite get the other, going for the Blinding Cloud instead. And Jumy's holding on for the timing, but here come the reinforcements. Here come the lurkers. Here comes a rally. And we can see Yakov, he's ready for a run by instead. It's a little supply tied up. Nice Nova. Oof. But we'll lose another disruptor. And Yakov, yeah, he does activate the army. It's getting activated. Does realize, hold on, you're struggling to defend. No shot you have a zealot run by. No shot. And Lankers, they move in. Oof. Massive shots going off. Lurker range is done. Tempest is revealed. Spire is on the way. Nice Aces. Aces goes off. Yakov trying to catch reinforcements. Nice storm on the lurkers. Oh my god, the abductions though. Gets a Tempest. Tempest goes down, lunges forward, catching up the Archon, the Immortal as well. Oof. Lurkers, they punish the Stalkers, and Roaches, they bust into the mineral line. Yeah, Jumy's being broken, he's just being torn apart, he cannot keep up, not like this. And again, that Colossus timing was so close. Like, he almost killed Yakov then and there. He killed a mineral line, killed a base. Did well for himself, but as we mentioned, he didn't have a 4th, right? He lost his 4th expansion. I thought it was greedy for Yakov to go for the counterattack when he did, but it worked. It was worth it. And with that, Jumy has been broken. Hydras, they start to step in. They catch the final disruptor. And no more Novas, no more disruptors. And with that, Yakov, he has done it. Now getting into the mineral line. There's 1 lurkers in position. GG gets called, and YoungYakov, he will claim the series 3-0, taking down Jumy and advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a really interesting build here out of Jumy. Again, it wasn't quite the same build that we saw previously. As we mentioned, it was a later forge, later upgrades, but an earlier timing there by Jumy. If you remember, he hit pre-Viper. He hit like just as the Vipers were popping out. They weren't ready for the first push, which is why he dealt so much damage. He was able to get on top of the lurkers, able to break through the 4th base, able to break through the 3rd base as well. But maybe it took a little bit too long, right? Maybe it took a little bit too long. Maybe we need a little bit more urgency out of Jumy to push into the natural, to catch the tech and to catch reinforcements. Instead, he was going for the fringe bases, which meant that realistically there, YoungYakov, it was just buying time. Like, he was just buying time to build up his army, to gather energy on those Vipers. And with that, he barely held on. Shout out to the Vipers. They did pop out in time. They were the MVPs for that fight. Clean up all the Colossus and the War Prism, and GG. GG, well played. With that, YoungYakov does claim the series. And we have our top 2. We have our top 2 finalists here. It's going to be Shameless and YoungYakov facing off in the grand finals. But before the grand finals, it is time for the bronze match, the 3rd place match here. It is going to be another best of 5, but this time between Jumy and MiniZerg. Oh boy. Again, Jumy and MiniZerg, they may have lost their respective matches, but now they get to face off against each other to confirm who is 4th and who is 3rd in this tournament, as there is a prize pool difference. Just catching up. Just catching up. Yeah. How the Protoss can charge the energy of the Oracle with Shield Battery or the Nexus. The Nexus has an ability called Energy Overcharge, and it works on anything that has energy. So that's applicable to the Shield Battery because the Shield Battery has energy, or it can also be used on an Oracle or a High Templar or a Sentry, or again any unit that has energy can be overcharged. Can be overcharged. So that is the ability on the Nexus. So you have to be within range, right? You have to be within range of the Nexus. It's a relatively new ability. Like, it was brought into play like maybe, was it 2 years ago, a year ago? Relatively new. Yeah. But otherwise, with that, we are going to be cutting to a short break. We're going to be cutting to a short break here. When we come back, we will have that bronze match. We'll have Jumy versus MiniZerg. We'll see you soon. See you soon after the break. See you soon. Bye. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back as we are halfway through the broadcast, halfway through the OSC League Rising Star 17.5 day number 4, the final day of the tournament. We are here to crown our champion. We just wrapped up with our semifinals, and both Shameless and YoungYakov did advance on. They were the two favorites for the entire tournament. To be fair, we expected them to face off, but I did believe there were certain key players that could stop them, like Lemon, like Jumy. But in the end, both are they're both destined to face off in those finals, and we'll get there. We'll get to the finals. First up, though, we have the bronze match. We have the third place match. Jumy and MiniZerg, they may have lost their series, but there's still one more opportunity for them to gain a better placing, and of course gain more prize money as well. Let's go. Let us go. It is going to be a money match here between Jumy and MiniZerg. Another PvZ. Non-stop PvZs tonight. True. Non-stop PvZs. Let's go. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on 10,000 feet. Coming into this, we're going to see a very different dynamic here. Again, Jumy can be very aggressive, can be very intense, and loving his in-game name. It's spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of 10,000 feet. We have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy, aka Gigabonk. Lovely. God damn it, Jumy. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Hokago T-Team. It is MiniZergUA. Solid, yes. He is here to bunk. No. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Best of luck in the chat. Bienvenidos. Big Mac. Bienvenidos. As again, we're settling into a best of 5 PvZ matchup here in the bronze match. Maybe you could argue a little bit less pressure on our players as they're not fighting for the grand finals, but you know, still a lot is on the line. And let's go. Let us go. So far, opening up Hatch Gas Pool, likewise standard opener out of Jumy. Now, what I expect out of Jumy, though, is more chaos. I mean, hey, last game we saw him try to catch Yakov off guard with this crazy double robo fast Colossus timing. At least attempted to. We saw that Yakov was able to get ready just in time with those Vipers. We'll see what Jumy has in store for MiniZerg here as we load into 10,000 feet. This is one of the smallest maps in the map pool, smaller map, shorter rush distance by ground. The last time we saw MiniZerg on this map, he was up against Shameless, and MiniZerg, he went for a 3-base all-in. Remember, he was forced to take the forward expansion, he rushed across the map, and that was the one game that MiniZerg did win against Shameless, was on this map, was with the all-in. True. So we'll see if he does so again. If you remember, MiniZerg, he broke the center expansion, he broke the third base, he contained Shameless on 2 bases. Shameless, he eventually stabilized and tried to retake his third and retake his fourth, but MiniZerg had a massive lead from that early damage, and things just snowballed out of control from there. He was able to just maintain that lead and claim that game. Why Gigabonk? Just do not try to question the mind that is Jumy. Hold on, I'll fix it up. I'll fix it up. Hold on. Can I? Bam. Bam. No, not quite. Not quite. There we go. That's what he does on the ladder. He gigabonks all over the ladder. No. Hello, MiniZerg. As this is Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener pulls out a gas, but he is rushing into the third or across the map with a proxy hatchery. Now, what is the plan here? The plan is to throw down the hatchery and mine through these minerals, mine through these mineral patches, and bust into the natural base. Jumy, he does check the wall, and he is in position here. Sees nothing yet. Yeah, last is not quite aware. Behind this, we have MiniZerg amassing up more Zerglings, and MiniZerg, he's missing drones. He needs drones here to mine through that patch to break into the natural. MiniZerg, he's completely all in. He's cutting workers at 20. So cutting workers at 20. He's link flooding across the map. Queens, they're waddling across as well. Let's go. They're walking across. The queens are coming. Jumy, he does spot the all in. He spots the hatchery. He does see the hatchery. He knows, Bappy. He knows. So far, fully walling off. Shield batteries on the way. The Stalker is trapped. Nice pickup. Takes down the Stalker. Stalker goes down. That's a kill, not a cancel. That's a kill on the gateway. And the drones have arrived. The problem is that Jumy knows. Like, Jumy, he saw this. Jumy's aware. Adept is in position. And how does Jumy stop this? Just kill all the drones. And he does. Oh, God. No! He gets 1, 2, 3, 4 drones. Does morph in the Spore Crawler, but alas, the wall here is solid so far. Again, the whole purpose of this is to break through that wall. And there's no drones. Yeah, there's no drones. A massive delay here on the all-in. MiniZerg, he can't get in, Bap. He can't get in. Oh! Okay, we got 1 drone. We got 1 drone. It's gonna get focused down. Oh! 0 drones. Again, the win condition for Jumy is to focus down those drones. To focus them down before they mine through the wall. And these things, they can do nothing. Yeah, another drone has arrived. We got 2 more coming in, 3 in total. Surrounding the gateway. Okay. Jumy's distracted. Jumy's distracted, and the drones are mining through. He's almost in. Casito. Yeah, he breaks through. He's gonna break through. Queens are welding forward. Spine crawlers on the way. The wall is broken. Lings are trying to flood in, but there's a second wall. Just in time, there's a secondary wall here for Jumy. He's got a second wall up and running. We got another wall here on the high ground. We got. Shield battery goes down, but Lings, they still cannot get in. Oh, I spoke too soon. We have a couple of Lings trickling in on the left hand side. The wall is broken. We come in for this round, but the Oracles are in position. Yeah, the Oracles are just mow through all those Zerglings. The boys are being pulled. Does pull the boys. Queens, they do have transfuse. MiniZerg, can he do it? Can he? He's breaking through. He's trying at least. Oh no. Yeah, more probes are being pulled. They try to get on top of the Queens. Down to 3 Adepts. Down to 3 Stalkers. Jumy holds. Yeah, Jumy, he does hold on. He has a standing army. Oh. Does lock in the Lings. It's still close though. We have another Spine Crawler coming in. Okay. Getting a second Spine Crawler. 3rd Spine Crawler's on the way. Queens are getting choked up. And MiniZerg, he's gaining ground, but at the same time, we have an Immortal coming out. The Immortal will shut this down. Jumy, he just needs the Immortal. Oh, Force Field misplaced. Okay, misplaced Force Field. Jumy did slip up. Lings are slipping into the main. Oh, diving on the main army. Does go for the dive. Doesn't get the surround. Lings, they go for the mineral line. Adept is in position. Yeah, nice warp in out of Jumy. Nice warp in. Queens are running out of transfuse. Yeah, there's no transfuse. Yeah, no transfuse available. Boys are being pulled. We need more time for a transfuse. The spines. Yeah, the spines are going down to the Immortal. Getting 1, 2. Plus transfuse towards the end. Okay. Saves the Spine Crawler. I'll save the spine. Again, we're down to 2 Spine Crawlers and 3 Queens. Down to 2 Queens. Again, there's no transfuse. He needs more time. Lings that down with the Immortal. If the Immortal dies, I mean, he can still do this. The Immortal. Can he get it? No. The Immortal pulls away. 1 Queen left. Yeah, the Immortal barely survives. Down to 1 Queen. Now there's a second Immortal though. Yeah, now we have a second Immortal. You saw how much 1 was doing. Now we're up to 2. Jumy still has a greater economy. He can still pull the boys if need be. Nice force fields. Choking up those things. Zoning back the Queen. Picks up a couple of workers. You see Jumy getting a better angle, and he gets a spine. Oh, almost. Casito. But again, his army's just too great at this point. There's just too much Protoss. And they got close. Like MiniZerg, he broke into the natural base. He got his spines up and running. It was close, but he gets cleaned up. And with that, Jumy, he'll take a lead in the series. GG. Jumy takes game number 1. Ay. GG, well played. Jumy, he does take a lead. Again, a very close, very intense game here, very intense defense. Again, Jumy, he was able to recognize the all-in and get ready at the wall, set up his secondary wall as well to make sure that the Lings had a very hard time actually advancing. And of course, the win condition there was the Robo. Finishing up the Robo, pumping out those Immortals. That first Immortal did so much damage, and once the second Immortal arrived, that was game. That was game then and there. We saw that MiniZerg, he just ran out of steam, ran out of reinforcements, ran out of army, ran out of transfuse. GG. GG, well played. Oh, hi. And with that, Jumy takes the lead, and now we're going to be jumping into game number 2. Let's go. We go from one of the smaller maps into one of the larger maps. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. And spawning in the top left-hand corner here of Winter Madness, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the German Protoss, oh, as we have to fix up his name. God. There we go. We have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone, leading the series 1-0. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Ukrainian Zerg player, we have the red Zerg representing Hokago T Team. It is MiniZergUA. Let's go. But again, Jumy, he was able to heavily slow down the all-in by killing the drones. I mean, again, imagine that last game, but the wall being broken, what, 30 seconds earlier. Maybe that would have been enough. Maybe. Here we go. Oh yes, he giga bonked. True, he. Este Jumy. See, this is hard to watch. I mean, again, it was close. Like MiniZerg, he did gain ground. He did break into the natural. It's just unfortunate that he just wasn't quite. Again, time was of the essence, right? Time was of the essence. Didn't quite get into the mineral lines, or didn't quite break the natural the way they had hoped for. Things were chaotic. Very chaotic, very messy, but GG. As for now, we're settling into a much more standard game. We do have a hatch gas pool, standard opener so far. This time there's no drone across the map, there's no proxy hatchery. Again, this map doesn't really lend to that sort of style. So we're settling into a much more standard early game at least. Stargate opener. Stargate had a Jumy. Interesting, but why not more shield batteries? I mean, batteries that have their place, and there were, what, maybe 3 shield batteries. But again, Jumy, he did need extra gateways. He did need that Robo, especially as you saw the Robo for the Immortals. Gateways for extra weapons to actually have the DPS output to deal with all those Zerglings. Shield batteries can be okay if you have a proper wall, but if you recall, the wall was compromised, right? The wall was compromised, so there was more surface area on the Adepts. That's why we did need more units, more army, more weapons to deal with the Link flood that was coming in. Here we go. On top of that, batteries also lose their effectiveness once you get more burst damage up and running, specifically referring to the spine crawlers, right? There were 3 spines in the natural base, and because of their burst damage, like, the battery is less effective as well. Just because you're doing so much damage at once that you can break through the shields and break through the hull. But again, Jumy, he got there. Like, again, what was most important was getting out that Immortal. He got there, Pat. He got there. He got there. So from here we have the early chamber. Okay, so early Evo chamber leading into +1 melee, leading into a Ling Hydra composition. So once again, we did see this in the first series of the broadcast against Shameless. It's a much more standard setup. I say standard, this is very 2025. Again, it's something that's been falling out of the meta as of late. For good reason. Again, for like 2 years, it was the go-to, was the standard for Protoss players to open up Stargate into Blink, right? Stargate into Blink Stalkers. Oh, hello. Okay, no, that makes no sense. I was like, why is there +1 range on the way? +1 melee is what we expected. But for a long time, it was just the go-to to just open up Oracle into +1 Blink Stalkers. Nowadays, we've been seeing less of that. We've been seeing more of Oracle into Charge instead. Not saying that's what we'll see here, but it's just been more popular and more trendy as of late. Earlier Robo. You have my attention. Meanwhile, it's going to be a 5-minute lair. So again, building up into the lair, building up into Hydras. Eyes are on Jumy. What's it going to be? Blink or Charge? Ooh, as the upside do get into the mineral line. 1, 2, 3 drones going down. Jumy's banking up a lot of resources, and there it is. +1 and Blink is on the way. Okay, Blink is on the way. These upgrades are a little bit late. Jumy was distracted by his own harass, so a little bit inefficient when it comes to his overall build, but he's getting there. Now, what I will say, against +1 and Blink, I do like the idea of going Ling Hydra. Jumy just scattered the Evo chamber. You don't have an Evo chamber this early on unless you do plan on going into +1 melee. So Jumy knows. Jumy knows, he's aware, and now we see why we had the early Robo. The early Robo for what? For the Bay. We're going into Colossus. Okay. This is looking very similar to the game that, yep, double Robo, double Colossus production. This is the same build or a similar build. I say similar because, again, the build itself was looking a little bit shaky and a little bit messy because of the harass, but this is the same overall idea that we saw against YoungYakov on this very map. And what did this lead into? This led into a +1 timing with 3 Colossus. 3 Colossus and a War Prism. And we'll see if Jumy can get there again. If you recall, how did YoungYakov survive this? Yakov, well, he had rushed into a fast hive into fast Vipers, and he barely held on with his Vipers as they were gathering energy. Meanwhile, the Overseer comes in. The Overseer scouts both Robos. Big scout, he knows. He's aware. Bam, instantly infestation bits. Again, the goal here should be, once again, Hive and Vipers. Need those Vipers. And a handful of safety lurkers as well. Lings, they come in for the surround. Not very nice surround here. Oh my god. Yeah, Blink is now done. But a massive loss for Jumy. Jumy losing everything. Every single Stalker goes down. Oh my god, expensive losses. And Jumy, he does take a massive loss here. Does take a big hit. Honestly, if MiniZerg wanted to, he could probably just all in. I think he could break the third. For now, though, he's droning. I mean, he's still, again, locked in. Droning. Hive is on the way. Still thinking about those Colossus. He's locked in, back. But again, this is a very rough start for Jumy. Bailings, they roll in. No major damage, but they deny mining. 7 probes go down. And sure, we're building up the Colossus, but now it's going to be a later push, a later timing. This time you can see 4 Colossus on the way. No War Prism. It tells us that Jumy's going to stay defensive. Which means MiniZerg is free to get his Vipers. Yeah, Jumy is turtling. There's no opportunity for Jumy to push out, so Jumy is turtling up. Academic at 4th base is on the way. Templar Archives on the way for Storm. We have +1 fire to +1 air attack. Jumy's getting ready for Sky Toss. So again, it looks like the plan for Jumy, because he lost so many Stalkers, he cannot move out. Like, he missed his window. He missed his timing. He cannot be aggressive. He cannot push out, so he's stuck at home turtling, defending until he gets into Sky Toss. There's a fleet beacon. Going to be building up into Tempest, into Carrier. Now, the problem here is that MiniZerg should be the first to max out. He's on 85 drones. He already has his Hive. Does he have a Lurker Den? No Lurker 10. That's a little bit concerning. So MiniZerg is going pure Lingbane Hydra Viper. No Lurkers, there's no backbone to the army. This tells me that he's heavily reliant on those Vipers and the abductions, even more so than usual. Late Lurker 10. Yeah, late Lurker 10 here. Ideally, you want the Lurker 10 finishing as the high finishes so you can start the upgrades immediately. So the transition into the mid game is a little bit shaky here. And MiniZerg has to make use of this army, is the issue. And I feel like typically we'd be able to push in here and now with like 5 or 6 Lurkers and start to apply pressure. The longer this game goes on, the better it is for Jumy, as Tempest production has begun. The pressure's on MiniZerg to make sure that he stops Jumy ahead of time, that he's able to slow him down. Now, I'm not saying that MiniZerg has to kill the army and kill Jumy, but even getting into the 4th base, or getting to the 3rd, or getting into the natural, like pulling off a Ling run by a Ling counterattack, killing an expansion. But now we're waiting until the Lurkers are ready, and again, these Lurkers are late. Got 6 Lurkers on the way. Nidus Worm, okay. Going for the Nidus. And you can see that Jumy's getting there. Mothership is in production. 2nd Stargate. Jumy scans. Also reveals, I should say. Lands Revelation. Spots the army. Jumy's catching up. And again, now would be the time to be active and to threaten abductions, to pick away at some of these units. Again, MiniZerg, he has 2,000 minerals in the bank. He can afford to poke in, trade, and once he loses links, back off and just keep remaking. I'm a little bit concerned. The concern is there. Oof. And he gets caught out, losing Hydras, losing a Lurker as well. Jumy now has a comparable army. Oh, going for the Nidus, but there was a Warpin available, and the Mothership as well. Jumy defends. Jumy defends, he shuts down these Zerglings. Nidus Storm doesn't finish. Jumy, he races back home. The main army pushing on the left-hand side at the same time, Nidus Storm into the natural, and Jumy doesn't react in time. Oh, nice blink. Gets a Viper. Oh, feedbacks the other 2 Vipers. No abductions. Yeah, that's dangerous. No abductions left, so the Nidus Storm will finish. Lurkers, they bust into the natural. Nice Nidus here by MiniZerg. But this main army is exposed. Oof. Lurkers, they pop off. 16 probes going down. Yeah, Jumy caught with his pants down. Nice splits here by MiniZerg. Oh my god. Oh god. Jumy, he kind of pushed into this, not into the concave of Lurkers. And MiniZerg, he does find some damage here. He finds damage, he gets a mineral line, he will be cleaned up. And now he just has to escape. Pulls out. And this was nice damage. The one concerning thing though was the main army. The main army of Jumy is still more or less untouched. The main army is still terrifying. The other thing that's concerning me, did we okay, we did rebuild. There's still 2 Vipers. Jumy's pushing forward. Vipers are exposed. But no, the Vipers! Get out of here! Oh my god, 1 Viper goes down. There's 1 Viper left. And without Vipers, it's so much more difficult to engage into this army. We gotta look after our Vipers, Pappy. Ling Rambai gets caught out. Nidus in between the bases. Okay. Jumy, he does notice. Yeah, he notices. He has a warp in. Jumy defends. This is also why you don't want to max out as a Protoss. If you notice, even here, Jumy has spare supply. That means that he can defensively warp in. If he's maxed, he cannot warp in defensively. So it is something intentional. Nice into the main base. Cannon is in position. And the Nidus will go down. Nidus is full. Abducts the Oracle. There's 2 Vipers. Currently 2 Vipers. Zealous, they react to the Nidus. Yeah, they do react. Nidus is denied. Jumy has been perfecting his army. At this point, he's up to 8 Tempest. Yeah, 8 Tempest for Colossus. I will say that what Jumy is lacking here are Storms. There's no White Templar. I mean, Templar are not just Storm, but also feedbacks against Vipers. Templar are very useful. So Lurkers, they try to push in. Jumy, he has eyes on these Lurkers. He has so far losing 3 Lurkers. And the Lurkers, they cannot escape. Yeah, they cannot get away. Oof, losing every single Lurker here. That's 8 Lurkers going down. Expensive losses for MiniZerg. And do we have a Spire, by the way? Okay. Does have the Spire. Where are the Corruptors? Against this many Tempest and Colossus, Corruptors are a must. Oh no, losing 1 more Viper. Losing 1 more. Not like this. Losing 2 Vipers, no spells. Yeah, no Abduction, no Power Bomb. Both Vipers go down. GG gets called, and Jumy, he will claim game number 2. GG. Ay. GG, well played. MiniZerg, he had such a strong start. Winding back. Remember what happened? MiniZerg, he caught the Stalkers. He caught every single Stalker. Jumy was overly aggressive. He got caught out in the open. He lost his entire army, and we had 2 choices to make. Either MiniZerg all-ins from there to capitalize on the fact that he killed every single unit, or to just calm down and just get further ahead, take more bases, and tech up. The problem was that MiniZerg, he didn't do either. He did get into hive tech, but if you remember, we were criticizing MiniZerg for having a late lurker den. Because he had a late lurker den, he could not be aggressive on the map. So he actually made his lurker den after the hive was done and after the Vipers were out. Then he threw down the lurker den. So very, very late lurker den there by MiniZerg. It meant that he was, even though he had a bigger army, even though he had a better economy, he was stuck at home until his lurkers came online, which were heavily delayed. That gave a lot of time for Jumy to turtle up and to build up his Colossus and build up his Tempest and build up his Skytoss. By the time that MiniZerg perfected his army and got into his lurkers, it was a little bit too late. Jumy had recovered. He had recovered from his earlier losses and had, again, kind of built up that death ball of an army. I did appreciate that MiniZerg was going for some multi-pronged aggression. He had a really nice Nidus for him. He had a really nice Nidus at the natural, but something that MiniZerg never got into, even though he had a Spire, were Corruptors. He was up against Skytoss. He was up against 8 Tempest on a Mothership, and Colossus as well. Corruptors would have so much value there in that kind of army, but never switched. He was stuck on a Hydra Lurker, and I say Hydra Lurker because we never really saw an abduction. We saw 1 abduction on an Oracle, just the Oracle, on nothing else. So the Vipers, they never really came into play. GG, well played with that. Jumy takes a 2-0 lead, and now we're going to be loading into game number 3, potentially the final game of the series. I'm hoping that we can have a back and forth. Again, we've had some really good moments for MiniZerg, like catching out all those Stalkers or getting the Nidus Swarm into the natural. Like, there have been some really nice moments, but we got to tighten up. We got to bring it all together here. Let's go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Celestial Enclave, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone, leading the series 2-0. It is Jumy. Gigabunked. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player, we have the Ukrainian Zerg representing her cargo T team. It is MiniZergUA. Go. Here we go. Zerg late game build order very difficult. I mean, I will say I'm very limited with how many games I've covered from MiniZerg compared to others. Like, I think I've casted maybe like 5 series from MiniZerg. I think maybe 6, but not that many in the grand scheme of things. But from what I'm gathering here when it comes to his ZVP is that he is very Hydra heavy. We saw this against Shameless earlier in the broadcast. We saw it here against against Jumy as well. But he's very Hydra heavy, to the point where he delays his lurker den. We saw it last game, but we saw it against Shameless as well, where he's maybe the other sprays. Let's go. The battle of the sprays. Denied. But he's a little bit late to take up into Hive, a little bit late to take up into Lurkers, but also he's late to switch out of Hydra Lurker and switch into a more Corruptor heavy composition. That's what I can like generally say based on what we've seen with our limited series, right, with like 6 series casted. But that is hurting MiniZerg a little bit too much here. But we'll see. We'll see if he can adapt, if he can adjust. Let's go. So far, we are going to be joining, going to be saturating. So far, hatch gas full. Standard setup at a MiniZerg. And welcome to Celestial Enclave. True. Actually, I should talk about the map a little bit here. For the first time in tonight's broadcast, this is one of the most vetoed maps in the map pool. This map is heavily vetoed. The reason for this is a couple of reasons. One, this is a very large map. Long rushes and spike round. But also very defendable bases here. Pocket base. We do have a pocket base here, which is typically taken as a 4th or 5th expansion. Likewise, because of the ramp coming into the natural, your 2 bases are very secure, and likewise, attacking the 3rd base can also be quite difficult as well. There isn't a wide entrance in between the bases, but this is usually where the army is parked, and here on the right-hand side, we have some choke points. So again, your initial 4 base setup is very defendable on Celestial Enclave. If there were a map where Jumy could just turtle up and build up into Skytoss, or any Protoss player, this is the map to do it on. Like, this is where you can turtle up quite freely, quite heavily, and build up into Skytoss without too much issue. Zerg players have struggled to kind of kill Protoss players early on this map. I'm not saying it's never happened. We've seen players like Solar pull off like Lin Queen Nidus all-ins, or there's been some cheeky moments we've seen from players like Solar and Shin where they can break down these rocks ahead of time without being scouted, without being noticed, and then bam, they just go in with their Ling Hydra all-in. Like, we have seen that. So technically, there are these rocks that can be broken down and you can gain access to the natural, but it is a big like gamble to try to break them down without being noticed. Big gamble. I want to say that was Solar versus MaxPax. Yeah, it was Solar. He was able to catch MaxPax with his pants down by breaking through these rocks and going for a 3-base all-in. For now, Stargate into Twilight Council. We have a delayed forge. But no battery behind this. Yeah, there's no battery, but the Oracle does respond, and the Stalker is barely going to go down. Same time, the Oracle across the map. Find some more damage. 4, 5, 6, 7? Up to 7 drones going down. Do we get 8? Not quite. Does overextend? Yeah, does stay a little bit too long here and does overextend. 7 drone kills for the Oracle. Not a bad trade here for Jumy, but you do want to keep the Oracle alive. Oh. And for the first time this series, we do have early charge. So early Zealots, early charge. This is going to be for a much more aggressive mid-game. Jumy's going to be the aggressor instead this time. So he's not turtling up. MiniZerg back at home. Layers on the way. Earlier Eva Chamber should be +1. Should be Ling Hydra. So Ling Hydra's building up for MiniZerg. Building up his Ling Hydra. Adepts, they do slip into the 3rd. Catching out more drones. Nothing major. 2 for 2. But does deny a lot of mining time here. Yeah, mining is being denied. Charge is almost done. Now, I would imagine that Jumy wants to hit with Mass Zealots and with a couple of Archons, but he may decide to slow things down and go into Storm. We'll see. Oh, Jumy, he's actually setting up for his 4th base at the triangular location. Usually we see the linear 4th base, but it looks like the goal here is to just wall up this ramp and then expand forward with your army, with your main force. So this should be the fourth. Meanwhile, Infestation Bit's on the way from MiniZerg. Okay, he's thinking about his hive. Double expanding. Getting his fourth. And now his fifth expansion. MiniZerg is running up. And Jumy is going into +1 air attack. +1 air attack. It is going to be Sky Toss. It is going to be turtling up. More defensive play out of Jumy. I'm a little bit perplexed as to why we rushed into charge the way that we did. Blink would have been a better option, I feel, given this position. But regardless, Jumy's building up, taking up, and he's taking a more defensive stance. Even setting up a wall behind his fourth base as well. Okay. So again, a very methodical setup here from Jumy. The Oracle does scout the Infestation Bit and does scout the Hive. So nice scouting here by Jumy. He's fully aware that it's not going to be mutas. There is no Spire. Fleet Beacon's on the way. Again, the Sky Toss is on the horizon. And we spoke about this at the start of the game. Like, hey, if you wanted to turtle up and just turtle up into Sky Toss, this is the map to do it on. If the natural is safe, the third base is safe, the fourth base is where the main army is. So this 4-base setup from the Protoss is very secure. Now, there are ways to bypass this. Nidus Worms, right? Like, Nidus Worms are a way to try to get into the bases and try to wreak some havoc. Draw Lords as well. As we have Overlord speed on the way. We're just calming down. Yeah, Prism just tries to slip in. Oh no! Prism goes down. Nice pick off here by MiniZerg. At the same time, over the forward base is going to fall. Jumy being a little bit adventurous. He has to be careful. Nice Taste is going off. Lings getting caught out. A couple Lings do make their way into the mineral line. And probes are getting picked up. Being 1, 2, 4 probe kills. Oof. Catching out for workers. Again, building up his Tempest. Meanwhile, MiniZerg, interesting, has opted to go into Ultra Tech, not into Lurkers. Oh wait, did he get a Hydra then? No, he skipped it. Okay. My apologies, I did miss that. I just made the assumption it was going into Hydra, but no, it is going to be Ling Ultra out of MiniZerg. Now, Ling Ultra can do well collapsing on top of High Templar, on top of Archons, but fun fact, nothing here shoots up. And there's no Spire. There should be a Spire with this. There's no Spire. There's no anti-air. Lings, they slip into the fourth base. They do burrow. 8 probe kills. Nice damage. Nice damage out of MiniZerg. And again, this kind of composition that MiniZerg is building up is designed to ignore the Sky Toss, to overwhelm the ground army, and then to break the expansion. Zealots to distract. What does Jumy need? A second Robo. Second Robo and massive mortar production would be ideal to counter the Ultras. Has Jumy seen the Ultras, by the way? I don't think he has. I could be crazy, but I don't think he's seen the Ultras. Otherwise, we should... Oh, there we go. Immortal Production's on the way. Void Razor on the way as well. He knows. It's a late reaction, but it's a reaction. It's there. Now we have the Spire. A very late Spire here from MiniZerg. I am concerned. It's built up to 7 Ultras. Oh, it even does force a recall. Yeah, nice round. Ultras, they collapse on the main army. They break through the 5th base. We get free damage here from the Tempest. but it's time to go. Yeah, it's go time. Ultras, they rally on forward into the fourth. Ooh, there's no detection though. A cloak gets activated. Ultras are denied. And Jumy holds. Jumy, he's holding on. Again, making more Void Rays. Trying to build up his Skytoss army. But there's still a hefty amount of Ultras. Storm softens them up, but the Ultras, they didn't care. They didn't care about the Storms. They keep on pushing through. Void Rays are activated. They activate their Pulsar Beams. Their Prismatic Alignment. And all these Ultras will be killed. But they will get the Mineral Line. Never mind. Jeez, the Cloak is insane. Again, 0 detection. Cloak gets activated. He saves the Mineral Line. Jumy. As MiniZerg, he's forced out. Jumy does hold. And what's scary is that these Ultras, they force out Void Rays, and what does the Void Ray counter? It counters the Ultra, it counters the Corruptor as well. MiniZerg needs Vipers. Vipers are a must. Does force a cancel. If you're curious, the Void Rays are very prone to clumping. As you can see here, they're very prone to clumping. So Parasitic Bombs are ideal against Mass Void Ray. That'd be the first step. Ideally, you get Power Bombs and Fungals, and you can get both. But alas, there are no Vipers. MiniZerg collapsing on the 4th base. Cloak gets activated. Oh, out of range of the base though. Lings, they get every single probe. Yeah, Mothership was out of position. Yeah, out of position here. 28 probes go down. Nice damage out of MiniZerg. He's doing it. Get some nice damage. Lings, they move in once again. Oh, there's detection. Yeah, not worth it here for MiniZerg this time. Yeah, but they'll slip into the natural. Oh, the move command. No, Papi. Hey, move. And here they come, 2 Vipers. 2 Vipers are on the way. Now, because of the heavy Ultra counts, there are 2 High Templar. Never mind. I was going to say that there should be less High Templar, so there's less of a chance that feedbacks are going to be a factor. I still stand by that, but there are a handful of High Templar available. There's 3 Templar. We'll see if MiniZerg can pull this off. Seeing Corruptors, they're hunting for any key units here. Vipers are moving in. Nice slow zone. Does it away. Zealous, they do step into a mineral line, just catching a handful of drones, distracting MiniZerg. Jumy, he's maxing out. He's maxing out with a terrifying army. In a head-on fight, I do favor Jumy, but it does depend on the spell usage, right? If a couple of power bombs can land, and if the army stays stacked, and if power bombs, if they get max damage, then hey, MiniZerg, he can pull this off. What does MiniZerg have? He has 19 Corruptors. 19 Corruptors, 8 Ultras. Actually, I do think that MiniZerg, he can win head-on. I would say that based on the army compositions and based on the higher Corruptor count, we need more Archons. I feel like Archons are lacking here for Jumy. I think he's a little bit too heavily reliant on the Void Rays. Like he's hoping a lot that these Void Rays shut down the Corruptors, and they still can. They still can. But, we'll see. We'll see how the armies clash. If the Corruptors can break through the Void Rays, the Corruptors, they will kill everything. There's just not enough ground anti-air to support. And because of the high Ultra count and because of the lower Immortal counts, there's only 4 Immortals, I feel like the ground army should crumble as well. But it still comes down to the angle of attack. It comes down to, you know, are we going to be fighting with shield batteries? Are storms going to land? Is it going to be the cloak? Is it going to be detection? There are a lot of factors. As Jumy does move in, here come the Power Bombs. Yeah, Power Bomb with Void Rays, landing one, landing a second, Fungal as well. Very nice, but Jumy does split. Yeah, splits up the Void Rays. There was only one Power Bomb that landed. We need another. Army does stack. And at the same time, we're going for the base trade. We're going for the base trade. Jumy takes down bottom right. So Ultras, they take down the center base. Oh no, the Viper. Viper goes down. And now 0 spellcasters. Oof, 0 spellcasters. There's no Infestor. There's no Viper. The base will fall, and Jumy snowballing out of control. I don't think Jumy can be dealt with anymore. Okay, we needed those spellcasters. We need those Vipers. Ultras are coming from behind. There's a cloak. We do commit in. A storm on the Ultras, not on the Corruptors. Ground army crumbles. And now it's all about the Sky Toss. And there are just not enough Corruptors. Yeah, not enough Corruptors here. The Ultras killed everything on the ground. That's all they killed. That's all they killed. The Sky Toss does overwhelm. The Sky Toss back. Now we do have 27 Corruptors on the way. True. We got 27 Corruptors. The Remax might be enough. You can see here that we're just trying to stack them up. You don't want the Corruptors to rally in. You want to be able to mass them. 10 more Corruptors in production. Ultras, they keep pushing through. Yeah, there's 24 Corruptors. Down to 23. 25. Corruptors, they commit. Oh, they get one. They get one Void Ray. They get another. They force a recall. And I think MiniZerg has done it. I mean, Jumy, he's down to... I mean, there's barely an economy, right? There's barely an economy for Jumy. MiniZerg has some mining. It's not much, but it's something. So 35 drones. MiniZerg has an economy. Has a gas bank at least. And he's got 26 Corruptors. I'm still not entirely convinced here. The lack of spellcasters is concerning. Got to respect the Void Rays. Jumy's still sharking around. MiniZerg did lose his Hive, true. Hive went down. So, fun fact, MiniZerg actually can't make any Vipers. That's why he's making the Infestation bits and eventually the Hive. MiniZerg cannot make spellcasters at the moment. Oh, he commits in. Yeah, losing 3, 4, 5 Corruptors. A lot of Corruptors go down. Does get the carrier. That was 7 Corruptors for 3 carriers. Not a bad trade for MiniZerg. Going for the Ultra counterattack. There's one Infestor buried. We got one Infestor. We got one Fungal in the chamber. As Jumy, he hasn't recalled yet. I wouldn't be opposed to just committing to the base trade, but MiniZerg, he wants to take the fight. Oh, Fungal lands. Fungal does lands. There's a second Fungal. Storm is spent, and now we commit. He can't. Yeah, he cannot commit to this. Another Storm. The Corruptors, they cannot fight this. He's on a 14. Gets a Void Ray. Gets one Void Ray. Oh, Jumy does miscontrol. Loses another Void Ray. And another. Yeah, miscontrol out of Jumy. We gotta tighten up. The Archon does start step in. Massive Archon shots on the Corruptors. And Jumy's done it. Yeah, Jumy, he does claim the fight. He cleans up everything. GG gets called, and Jumy will take the series 3-0. Whew, GG. Aye. GG, well played. Jumy does claim it. MiniZerg, alas, it was very messy. Very messy game here. He was dealing damage with his ultras. He was knocking down bases, crippling the economy, but Jumy's main army was terrifying, and again, we were heavily reliant on the spellcasters. We didn't really get many power bombs or many fungals when it mattered most. A lot of the Vipers, a lot of the Infestors were being sniped. It was brutal that during the initial push, we saw that MiniZerg lost his Hive, and he lost his Infestation Pit, so he couldn't actually make any spellcasters. He was stuck with Corruptors, and yeah, again, they're just not as efficient. They're not as they can't achieve as much, of course, as, you know, a Void Ray Tempest carrier, High Templar Archon army. GG, well played. Very intense though, very close, very clutch. Congratulations to Jumy, as Jumy does claim the series 3-0, and Jumy will be taking 3rd place in the OSC Elite Rising Star 17.5. GG, well played. Is there failing to expand? In that kind of game state, expanding was not, like, the economy was low enough where, like, those, like, trying to, like, re-drone and re-expand was not really an option there. No. But GG, well played. Anything looks wrong in the bracket on Wikipedia. For those who are maybe a little bit unaware, as we're getting ready for the grand finals, here, getting ready for that best of 5. Just before that though, we can catch up on the bracket itself. Again, for those that are curious, for those that are looking at the bracket on Wikipedia, you can see here that we still only have our semifinals. Just to make it clear, just for those who are maybe unaware, Wikipedia is not automatic. This bracket is not automatic. It is actually updated by the people, for the people. It is a wiki, of course, and that is applicable to all Wikipedia pages. But this is typically updated by people that are watching, and I will say that the most active contributors to Wikipedia are based in Europe, at least currently. A lot of them are based in Europe, so whenever it's late in Europe and they go to sleep, there's not many active contributors to the page, to Wikipedia itself. So if you're out there, if you happen to be based in the Americas, or just, I mean, it doesn't matter where you are, but depending on, if you're out there, if you want to help out, if you want to help contribute, consider updating Wikipedia. Okay, consider it, as it is open for anyone and everyone to go in and to update scores if you're watching a tournament live. This isn't just for our tournaments, but another example is Pigasar Cup. Pigasar Cup is another tournament that's more at an NA time slot and time zone and doesn't get updated live. So a lot of events that occurred around this time, time. Currently there aren't many like American time zone like contributors, so there's no updating that occurs. Just as a heads up. I think an example of that, you can actually see the history here. So this is the history of people updating. We have Cynical's from Italy. We have Thorn is from Germany. So these are the two that updated last, and then that's me. So you can see like the active contributors and who has edited the page. So it's from Italy, from Germany. And they're asleep right now. They're in bed, Spappy. They're in bed. So yeah, it can be updated if you wish. I used to do a lot more updating back in the day, like back in 2018, 2019. I used to be the guy that would spam refresh the GSL bracket pages before they were on challenge. I would just spam refresh because there was no live stream of Code A. It was the Code A qualifiers for GSL, and I'd be the one that would like live update on like the TL live report threads and on Reddit and on Wikipedia as well. Just spam refresh on those brackets. But yeah, just as a friendly reminder. But otherwise, we are getting ready for the grand finals. The grand finals are upon us. Un momento, papi, un momento. Getting ready for those finals. little fairy. Un momento. Here we go. Okay, so as a reminder, we had Shameless. Shameless took down MiniZergUA 3-1 to take him down in the upper bracket semis. Likewise, we had Jumy falling to YoungYakov 3-0. So we have our two finalists. It's going to be a best of 5 between Shameless and YoungYakov. Another PVZ. Let's go. Let us go. Oh, also very quickly, sorry, I have to do payouts. True. Have to do payouts. But here we go. We're getting into our grand finals here. It's going to be a best of 5, and game 1 is going to be on 10,000 feet. Let's go. Let us go. As we're here to crown our champion. We're here to crown the rising star, baby, the rising star. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss player himself, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our best of 5. Aye. Let's go. Here we go. As Yakov starts off with a proxy hatch. Let's go. The drone is being sent towards the natural, looking to hatch block Shameless. So cheeky move here from YoungYakov. Yakov does open hatch first, so it's going to be hatch first back at home into the hatch block across the map. Remember, this is not an all-in. This is not an all-in. This is not a rush. This is designed to disrupt and delay the economy and disrupt the build of Shameless. Here you go. Bienvenidos. Buenos días. Buenos días. As the drone moves in, and the hatchery is thrown down. Now, typically, there are two responses to this. There are two responses. One is to pull the boys. One is you pull like 6 to 7 probes, you move in, you get a surround, and you focus down the hatchery. Otherwise, you can have a cool, calm, collected response and going double gateway. So 2 gate opener, 2 gate response. Ooh, a little bit misplaced there when it comes to the cyber core. A little bit shaky. But the way this works here is that you're going to wait for the zealot, you wait for the zealots, you wait for the adepts, you focus on the hatchery, you force a cancel, and then you counterattack. You counterattack with your units that you built up in the early game. And that can be really difficult for the Zerg player to deal with because their own spawning pool and gas geysers are delayed, right? This tech here is delayed because this was technically a hatch build before gas and before pool. So it's going to be double zealot, double adept out of Shameless. He's going to have 4 units to counterattack. And he'll be forcing YoungYakov not to drone, but to make a wave of Zerglings. Oh, never mind. Shameless, he delays the adepts for a moment here, going for the Stargate first. Okay. I mean, the adepts are still on the way. Still on the way. There's a cancellation. Drone does scout the main, does confirm the Oracle, does confirm the Stargate. So nice scout by YoungYakov. Does scout, does confirm. As he throws down a second hatchery. Okay, a bigger delay. So a bigger delay here for Shameless. Cheeky moves out of YoungYakov. The drone is still alive, distracting the zealot. Oh no, but Shameless, happy. Oh, okay. He killed it for the Oracle. Okay. Shameless was supply blocked. Is supply blocked. Feels probe, man. And if they shade across the map, they can one-shot drones. They get 1, 2. 2 drones go down. 1 was scouting. 1 was the harassing drone. Again, Shameless being active. I believe he has an extra pair. Yeah, he does have an extra pair of adepts. Moving in and building up to 4 adepts already. It does threaten the shade. Again, forcing out all these Zerglings. Link speed does finish. And Yakov can't engage. Oof. Yeah, throws away some Zerglings. Tries to collapse in. We shade, we commit into the natural. Drones are going to be going down. The boys are being pulled. Oh my god. 3 drone kills, 4. Yeah, 4 more drones go down. This will be cleaned up. But again, a nice trade here by Shameless. As he's still not done. Shading into the main base. Softening up the drones. The Oracle is going to be coming in. Doesn't quite make it through though. And did sustain a lot of hull damage earlier. So building up to 2 Oracles. Oh. They'll sit by. Denies mining. Denies mining. Building up here on 2 bases. So far, Shameless, he's recovering. He's killed 6 drones so far. Nice value. Nice damage. Once again, poking in. Ooh, does overextend. Losing an Oracle. This is not worth it. Yeah, 2 drones is nice, but it's not worth the Oracle. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Shameless does overextend, and he may even lose another Oracle. He loses both. Oh god. Shameless, Yakov, calm down. You did well. Oh god. He's like, I should not be doing well this game. Gonna kill my own hatchery. Ah. Ah no. It's a proper Zerg player. Can never be in a good position. Calm down, Pat. Yeah, from here we're taking up, droning, saturating. Again, I would say that when it comes to early game, better position for YoungYakov. He's in a better position. So he dips into the main. Does scout the tech. It gets eyes on Blink on +1. And we'll see what Shameless can achieve with this. As Yakov is playing standard. +1 melee, Baneliness, going into Lingbane Hydra. Technically, with all these 6 gases, this can lead into Lingbane Muta. Technically. I don't know if it's necessary though. Does sound like a big risk that can be punished, but we'll see. Nice catch on the Adept. On the Zell, there's no safety shield battery. There's no battery here. Stalker also going to get surrounded. The Valley here is brutal. And again, the only reason why this is doing so much damage is because the Oracle count was reset. Usually there's 1 or 2 Oracles to defend, but without any Oracles, I mean, this is getting out of hand. 4 more probe kills. This should not be happening at this stage of the game. It's all just snowballing out of control. From one thing to the other. We do see a second Robo on the way. Shameless going to double Robo, double Colossus production. Can he get there though? Blink is not done. No, Blink isn't done. What are we doing out here? Yeah, Lings, they're coming for the surround. They lock down the Stalkers. Gets 1, 2, 3, 4 Stalkers. Massive losses for Shameless. GG gets called, and YoungYakov takes game number 1. GG. Whew. Oh, also, my apologies. I will have to fix that in-game score. My apologies. Yes, Shameless versus Shameless. But GG well played with that YoungYakov. It does take a lead in the series. Does take game 1. Again, a very chaotic game 1 as well. Very, very chaotic. The reasoning for this is because of Shameless losing his Oracles, to be honest. If those Oracles didn't go down, Shameless, he defends back at home. He protects his mineral line. He protects his units, and he gets into the mid game. Like, very different kind of game state. But remember, Shameless, he lost both Oracles across the map. That was unacceptable damage. GG. GG well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. But if you recall, the reason why I said double Shameless is because we had to customly adapt or customly change the UI for Jumy. Otherwise, he was just Gigabunk. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the blue Zerg player. Yeah, the blue Zerg player himself leading the series 1-0. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And as we settle into game 2, a big shout out to Handsmuff666 in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing and for converting a Prime sub to a Tier 1 sub. Thank you. From Prime sub to Tier 1. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bobby. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate the supports. We do appreciate the support in the chat. And I hope you enjoy the content. I hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Subscribing for 2 months. For 2 months, papi. Otherwise, YoungYakov, once again, do you see what I see? Hatch block. 2 games in a row, he's going for the hatch block, looking to disrupt the opener of his opponent. Drone moves in, and the hatchery is thrown down. So once again, this should elicit the same response, so going for a second gateway, early zealots into double zealot, double adept. We should be seeing the same response. Again, the response was not bad last game. It was the follow-up, it was the oracles, right? The oracles, they fell on their face. It was just a really, really rough mid-game there, early to mid-game for Shameless. Again, we cannot afford to lose oracles that quickly, that early on. Not in ZVP. I mean, not in any matchup. Guess names should be fixed. Should be fixed. Shameless will swipe away at the hatchery. Again, eventually this will be cancelled. There's the second zealots. We have the Stargate follow-up, and we have the 2 adepts. Yakov is going to be forced to cancel. He shouldn't be allowed to delay any further. Oh, he wants to. No, he gets in. No, he gets to the hatchery. Yeah, throws it down. Thankfully, the zealots are still in position. Yeah, he'll be fine. This does delay the expansion a little bit further here, but it's going to be cancelled. Ooh, that was a kill, not a cancel. That should not have happened. That should not have happened. Massive loss for YoungYakov, and suddenly Yakov is behind. He just threw away 300 minerals. 300 minerals down the drain this early on. That is brutal. What does that mean? That means less queens. Like, we could have had a 3rd and 4th queen on the way, but the money spent on the queens was spent on the hatchery. Could have been more droning. Could have been anything. Nice round. Nice round of the adept. Yeah, the queen's just now on the way. A later 3rd queen does mean that the oracles are going to be more effective. Nice round on the 2nd adept though. Okay. Catching both adepts. And catching out one of the zealots. Oh, trying to. The oracle pokes forward. Spore is just now on the way. Damage is going to be done. And again, there should be extra queens here. So far, losing 4, almost up to 5. Oh, almost. 4 drones go down. This time, Shameless is not as greedy. The oracle rotates. And cleaning up Zerglings. Still more value here out of the Protoss. And again, this has just been a shaky start here for YoungYakov. It's been rough. Has been rough. Oh. This time both oracles survive. And hello, Shameless. What's going on? Shameless, he's getting a 2nd Stargate. Now, from here, we have some options. This could be 2nd Stargate into a Fleet Peak into a Tempest Rush. Otherwise, we could go Mass Oracle. 3 oracles so far. That's not crazy. That's standard. Opening up triple oracle, and do you see what I see? I see a 4th oracle on the way. Oh boy. We're going Mass Oracle, pappy. Shameless. He's shameless. He wants to have some fun. Oh god. Now this is a build. Typically this coincides with charge. So you have Mass Oracle in the sky, and you have Mass Charge also on the ground. I don't see a Twilight Council yet. But the oracles are amassing. There's Transfuse. Gets queen. Gets one, gets another. It's gonna be close. Oracle gets quartz, so a bit of a back and forth trade here. Does pick off 2 queens. Can we get a 3rd queen? Does sustain a lot of hits and does this time get away. It does pull out. Now, the reason why this is worth it, I mean, losing an Oracle was brutal, and we could have seen Shameless maybe save that Oracle, but the queen count was already low to begin with. Remember, it was already low because of the dead hatchery. So YoungYakov, he already has a low queen count, and he just lost another 3 queens. And queens, that's the anti-air. I mean, that's what we have against the Mass Oracle. The Mass Oracle, it's building up. We have a lot of Oracles already on the way. With less queens, there's less to deal with this. There's less defense. This is the only queen. There's 1 queen to defend. There's 2 more on the way. The Oracles are coming. Now, obviously, spores will help. True. Spores will help, but with enough Oracles, you can just dive on the spore. He's tempted. So we have a 5th Oracle on the way. Currently, there's 2 queens. There's about to be 3. Yeah, we go for the dive. We're going for the queen. Yeah, the queen and the spore. The spore goes down. The Oracle does pull away in time. Nice control. No, Jesus. And without no mining. Yeah, denied mining here at the natural. Ling Bane commits in. No major economic damage. Only 2 drone kills. Banelings, they'll bust through. The Lings, can they deny the expansion? They won't be able to. Yeah, they won't quite be able to. Oracle's a race back home in time. But Yakov, his economy is still standing strong, right? Like this could have been disastrous. This could have been the entire middle line going down. But thankfully, YoungYakov, he distracted. Spire is now on the way. And these things are keeping Shameless busy. Keeping him busy. They're keeping him pinned. Yakov diving in once again, gets on top of the Zealots. Banelings are waddling in, and they do get into the mineral line. Oh, they're stuck! Oh my god, massive connections. 5 probes go down. Surrounds the Archon as well. And the Oracle's out of energy. Wow, the Oracles, despite there being so many of them, they're out of energy. The Lings are overwhelming. They break on through. Nice save on what remains. Nice save with the War Prism. And Yakov, he stabilizes. Like Yakov, he's able to drone up, saturate, Hydrogen is done, Hydras are amassing as we speak, Gold base is up and running, so we have a boosted economy here for YoungYakov. It is vulnerable, there's no spore, but Shameless is stuck at home. He's stuck at home, these Oracles are unable to move out. Yakov, he has recovered and he takes the lead. He's taken a lead. Again, there was a lot of potential here for Shameless, but remember, he lost an Oracle early on, he was delayed when it comes to breaking the natural base. Again, just really smart for YoungYakov to counterattack. These Oracles, they might still punish the gold. True. Yeah, Spore isn't done, and the Spore won't finish. Yeah, Spore will not finish. Nice damage with the Oracles. Catching up 5 drones. Once again, though, there's just so much supply tied up in these Oracles, and they're energy-based units. They're great harassing, but once they're out of energy, they're dead supply. They didn't do anything. They didn't help in the defense. Yeah, the Oracles that did supply. What do we have to defend? We have 2 Archons. We have 2 Eye Templar. Storm is not even halfway done, so Storm is going to be a non-factor. And here comes YoungYakov. He's going for the kill. Oh no, the Oracles! He gets 2. 2 Oracles go down. Banelings, they make their way into the mineral line. No major connections. But the battery's out of NG. Archons are going down, and Banelings, they roll in. And YoungYakov, he has done it. He has done it. He has broken Shameless. Oof. Takes down the Zealots, takes down the Oracles. There's 3 Oracles left, down to 0. There's 0 Oracles, 3rd base has been broken. GG gets called, and YoungYakov takes game number 2. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, a very intense game here with YoungYakov fumbling early on, losing a hatchery, allowing himself to be vulnerable early on, and Shameless took a risk. He took a risk, he took a chance. Well, he did get ahead. He did get ahead, and he chose to go double Stargate Mass Oracle, which is a very niche build, very niche, very unorthodox. It has potential. It has potential. We've seen this take down some of the best Zerg players in the world. We've seen Raynor tied to this. We've seen several struggle against this as well. Like, that has happened. But unfortunately, we saw that YoungYakov, he was able to minimize losses. He only lost 2 drones. He lost 2 drones to the Oracles. I would say that Shameless did have some indecisiveness when it came to his aggression with the Oracles, and did lose an Oracle as well, which was less than ideal. So it took him a little bit longer to break into the base and to deal any damage. We saw that YoungYakov, he responded well. He did save his boys, did pull them away, and he was able to counterattack with his Lingbane. Did counterattack, did force Shameless back home. GG. GG, well played. With that, Yakov, he shut down the Oracles. The Oracles, in the end, they weren't worth it. They were not worth it. They barely did any economic damage. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game number 3. Potentially the final game of the series. Is spawning in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic. We have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself, leading the series 2-0. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And for the first time this series, oh no, he's coming in. He wants the hatch block once again, baby. He's coming. He's coming for the block. The drone is on the way. Un momento. In the chat, hatchery only costs 275. It does cost 275. It was still a big loss there for YoungYakov early on. He did fall behind early on. But the hatchery has been thrown down, and hopefully this time YoungYakov will not lose the base. Hopefully. Hatchery has been thrown down. Meanwhile, same reaction, same response. So going for the 2-gate opener, 2 gateways into double zealot, into double adept. Shameless is building up. From here, he is going to be building up. Will eventually force a cancel, then can counterattack, and we'll see if YoungYakov can minimize losses. We shall see. Interesting, this time Shameless, he's going to be going for a faster second adept, and he's going for a later Stargate. We've been seeing both in Game 1 and Game 2 earlier Stargates out of Shameless, this time slightly delayed, which is a more standard response. Drone does cancel, pokes in. The drone confirms that there is a Stargate. As the drone does go down, and here comes a counterattack. So Shameless does move out. Back at home, YoungYakov, he's building up his queens. He's forced to make lings. Ling speed is on the way. And we'll see if he can deal with this. First adept has arrived. We can see Shameless making another pair of adepts behind this, so building up to 4 adepts. The queens, they hold their own. Shade is cancelled. Tempted, doesn't commit in. Now it's built up to 4 adepts. He's built up his army. He's containing YoungYakov on 2 bases. Shameless does expand. And now we can start to commit. Okay, picking with the queen. Does take away. Here comes the oracle. Shameless, he hasn't committed yet. He hasn't lost anything. So again, threatening that shade. And we have Shameless going for his Twilight Council follow-up. It looks actually quite aggressive. I don't see a Forge yet. Yeah, no Forge out of Shameless. That's going to be a Twilight Council before third. True. In my mind, it's going to be Glaive Adept. So we have seen Shameless mix things up into early Blink. But in my mind, this should be Glaives. Oracles they poke in. They get one drone. They're still in position to deny the third base. YoungYakov, he cannot expand. Ooh, forced to expand on low ground. And yet we have confirmation. Glaive Adepts. So again, fast Twilight Council, fast Glaives. Shameless, he is committing. And currently YoungYakov has no idea. And oh, he's going into fast Hydra. Wait, what? 2-base lair into fast Hydras? Oh, no. A bold move out of YoungYakov. Crazy build, actually. So skipping the Evo Chamber, skipping +1, skipping the Roach Horn, skipping the Bailey Nest, going into insanely fast Hydras, and this will be ideal for Shameless. Again, Adepts, they do bonus damage to light units. That includes Lings and Hydras. That's why typically you want a Bailing or a Roach response. Ooh, as the Oracle does go down, bit of miscontrol there from Shameless. Yeah, it does miscontrol. Shameless, he did see the lair at least. He's aware of the lair, he's aware of the gases. In his mind, it could be Mutas, it could be Aspire, or it could be a Hydra Den. But it doesn't matter. He's moving out with the Adepts. Here come the Mass Adepts. It's going to be a difficult defense for YoungYakov. Yakov, he didn't scout. He's just now scouting. He now knows. He's now aware. No Forge, Twilight Council. Bailey Nest will help. It's on the way. He needs those Bailings. With Bailings, he can defend. Adepts, they... Oh, they commit to the shade. He does commit in. Lings are already here for the surround. Yeah, decent surround here with the Lings, and with that Yakov, he holds. He completely cleans this up. This was a questionable shade here from Shameless. He will lose everything. That wasn't worth it. That was not worth it. Remember, the third base is late, so there's no defensive setup here. Adepts, they can trade well against this, but he got completely surrounded here. Yakov, he got the best service area he could have hoped for. The best service area. Shameless, he got too excited. He got too excited. No. And Shameless is hurting. Shameless is hurting. At this point, we do have a really strong Hydra timing available. The upgrades are already on the way. As we mentioned before, it was just an insanely fast Hydra Den. There's no Evo Chamber. There's no upgrade. In my mind, Yakov should be going for a 3-base all-in. Joining up to 60, maybe 66 drones at the most. Yep, taking his gases. Get a 4th base just for Larva and just mass up with pure Ling Hydra. So in my mind, we shouldn't be seeing an Evo Chamber, but we'll see. If he throws down an Evo Chamber, that would be a sign of a longer game. Whether it's an Evo Chamber or an Infestation Pit. And more drones. If we see any of those 3 things, then it'll be a sign of a macro game. But otherwise, Yakov should just commit. So Yakov, he drones up to 59. So just under 3-base saturation. Basically, Yakov, he's choosing not to get his 6th Gas Geyser. So he's not getting his final Gas Geyser. Just making nothing but Ling Hydra. Here come the Bailings. Here comes Yolin. Now the Observer does spot this. Shameless, he knows. Jesus. Okay, I like this. He's going into Mass Sentry. So the reason why Sentries are ideal in this position is because there's no Ravagers. So the Force Fields cannot be dealt with. So with good enough control, he can slice up the army in half. Oh my god. Bailings, I didn't quite make it through. That was very close. Very close. Calm down, buddy. Calm down. The Force Fields are the only thing keeping him alive in this game. Speaking of, once again, does run away the army. Nice Force Fields. But the problem is he's running out. He's running out of Force Fields. Doesn't have many left. No. Bailings get in. Massive connections. Oh my god. Yeah, Bailings, they do smash forward. Hydras, they start to step in. Bailings, they shut down the sentries. And we just need reinforcements. Here we go. The Lings, they come in to reinforce. And with that, YoungYakov, he has done it. He breaks the main army. He breaks the adepts. He breaks the sentries. And there's nothing left. Yeah, there's nothing here. Again, the 4th base was just for larva. There was no Evo chamber, no further tech, no further upgrades. Just a 3-base all-in out of YoungYakov. And Pappy, we're going to pull off the 3-0. I thought we were going to get like a game 4 or a game 5, especially between these two players. Adepts, they barely hold on. Shameless does survive, but it cost him 21 probes. 21 workers. And now we see the pit. To be honest, I don't think we even need it. Like, Yakov, he could just keep making more Ling Hydra. He doesn't even need to drone, but he is. He's droning, he's saturating. He's taking up, getting another gas geyser. Yakov is getting further ahead. Oh, it does lose 5 drones though. 5 workers go down. But yeah, Yakov is just taking up. We have the Lurker 10 as well. Taking up into Hive Tech Lurkers. Instead, Shameless, he's the one that's now all in. If you notice, Shameless isn't making probes. He's not making workers. He's building up. Again, it's either all in or die trying. Macro is not an option. Alright, let's go. Technically, the other thing that we could do is just get a fast 4th base, throw down a fleet beacon, and then just pray that you get left alone and go into Sky Toss. But Yakov is not going to leave you alone. Like, Yakov is not going to leave you alone. So no shot. Shameless, he commits. It's all about those force fields. Oh, speaking of, very nice. But gee, the force fields are on point, Pat. Yeah. Force fields, they lock him down. We have more force fields that came from. True. More force fields. Failing, some of them do make it in. Oh my god, massive connections. Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, it's far too much here. GG gets called, and YoungYakov, he will claim the series 3-0, becoming this season's OSC Elite Champion. GG. He's this season's OSC Elite Rising Star, Pappy. GG, well played. Congratulations to YoungYakov. He does claim the series. Again, we saw that Shameless, he did commit into Glaive Adepts. I wasn't opposed to it. I wasn't opposed to the Glaive Adepts, especially against Ling Hydra, but unfortunately that first shade lost Shameless the game. He shaded into the natural, and he shaded into Ling Hydra. Like, the army was ready. The army was already surrounding the shade of the Adepts. He committed to the shade, he lost everything. He killed like 3 drones. I think he killed 3 drones. He didn't kill any Hydras. From that moment forward there, Shameless, he was down and out. Yakov, he droned up to 60. Technically, he droned up to 59 workers. He stayed on 5 gases, 4th base just for lava, went for a Ling Hydra all in. GG, well played. We had some very impressive force fields out of Shameless, both defensively and offensively. Very nice force fields, but there was nothing else to the army, right? There was no Colossus, there was no Storm, there was no Archons, there was no meat to the army itself. Some impressive control there out of Shameless, very impressive, but there was nothing else to it, unfortunately. Like, again, he was just down and out. So GG, well played. With that, YoungYakov, he will claim the series. He will be our champion. Congratulations here to YoungYakov, as he does come out on top. Again, Yakov and Shameless, they often go back and forth. We've seen a bunch of best of 7s where they go all the way to the ace match as well, but specifically in this series, 3-0, a very chaotic series as well. Every single game, what did YoungYakov do? Hatch block. He went for the hatch block. He forced like kind of an early uncomfortable game state out of Shameless, and it forced some really weird reactions. Here in game 3 we had Glaive Adepts. In game 2 we had double Stargate Mass Oracle, which, I mean, again Shameless was ahead in game 2, right? Like, I feel like he should have won that game. He was ahead, but he committed into Mass Oracle into like a quirky follow-up, and it wasn't worth it. It was crazy. GG, well played. Chaotic series. Congratulations to Yakov. And with that, we have crowned our champion. Again, it was an intense tournament. From the beginning, we did expect the finals to be Shameless and YoungYakov. In the end, we saw that no one could really stop them. We did see that both MiniZerg, Sebestis, and Homono did make Shameless bleed a little bit here. Same with MinoVK. True. They had their own kind of moments. But congratulations. Hold on, I'm just looking to update the page. Un momento. Just catching up. How he jumps like that. That's crazy. Getting a good sear on a steak. True, true. Sorry, just catching up. Anybody else? Ah, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. With that, we're going to be wrapping up. Going to be wrapping up here for the day and for the event. With that, we have crowned our champion. Sorry, just setting up the Wikipedia page. We can do it together. True, true. Do it together. All right, what do we have here? Semifinals or semifinals here. It was Shameless. He won 3-1. We had YoungYakov claim his series 3-0. Finals was Shameless versus YoungYakov. Beautiful. And then we had the bronze match, which was MiniZerg versus Jumy, which I believe was also a 3-0. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. And there we have it. Okay, there we have the bracket before us here. Again, Shameless, he did work his way through, and as we mentioned before, he did actually bleed on his way to the finals. He dropped a map to Sebestis, dropped a map to Honmono, dropped a map to MiniZerg before getting knocked down by YoungYakov in that 3-0 fashion. Again, pure best of fives, non-stop best of fives throughout the entire bracket. Meanwhile, YoungYakov, he also did drop a map to MiniZergUA early on, and I will say that in my opinion, Lemon would have also posed a threat as well, but there was a walkover. There was a walkover in the quarterfinals. So Yakov, he was able to breeze his way through the quarterfinals, took down Jumy 3-0 to become our eventual champion. MiniZergUA being the only player to take a map, off of YoungYakov. Likewise, shout out to Jumy, because Jumy, even though he got knocked down by Yakov, he did still come in third place, taking down MiniZerg in the previous bronze match. So congratulations, we have Yakov in first, Shameless in second, Jumy in third, and MiniZerg in fourth. And I will say that's kind of like the big surprise factor for me was MiniZerg. MiniZerg, he's a very young player. He's 19 years old. He's very young, and he's very new to this level of play. MiniZerg, he only hit GM like last year. Like MiniZerg, he hasn't really gotten a lot of experience in these kind of tournaments, so he was a dark horse, right? He was a dark horse. He was the underdog. To take down both Inexorable and Mute, who have been active for a lot longer, was impressive. Was very, very impressive. Even here, went all the way to the ace match. I do recommend it. If you missed out on the series, if you missed out on the VODs, Inexorable versus MiniZerg was crazy. Best of 5. Inexorable, he was up 2-0, by the way. He was up 2-0, and then MiniZerg, he pulled off the reverse sweep, so we had a crazy back and forth between these two players. Definitely one of the highlight series of the entire tournament. Do recommend it. But yeah, really impressive to see MiniZerg do well here, and I hope to see more of him. I hope he's able to keep up the pace when it comes to improving and continuing to compete as well. Do hope he continues to compete. But otherwise, GG, well played. With that, so we are going to be wrapping up. Here for the morning. When it comes to the rest of our schedule and the rest of the broadcast, bam, you can see it here before you. We just wrapped up with our Tuesday morning broadcast. We do not have another broadcast this evening. It is just going to be Tuesday morning, and tomorrow we're going to be live with Pegasus Cup. That's going to be a live broadcast of Pegasus Cup. We also have the War TV Monday scheduled for tomorrow evening as well. It's a little bit of an asterisk on that one, just because we don't have the replays yet, but once we get them, we can organize a Wardy TV cast. Meanwhile, Thursday we have the Pond cast in the evening, and we should have another cast in the morning. I did just confirm. So Thursday morning we're going to put another event in there. It's going to be the OSC Elite Rising Star number 18. So this event was 17.5, and on Thursday we have number 18 instead. I can actually give you a bit of a teaser as to that bracket. Hold on. So as one ends, the other does begin almost immediately. And you can see the bracket here ready for you. Un momento. Bam, so this is going to be on Thursday. So Thursday, this is the same tournament, but the next edition, OSC Elite Rising Star number 18. As you can see here, we have 14 Protoss players. This event also featuring up-and-coming players. We have Art, Creature, Hydra. There's Jumy once again. There's Jumy, Lelix, MiniZergUA, Mute, Night Phoenix, Pappy, Rebellion, Sebestus, Shameless. There's Shameless again, and UED Soldier. For Terran, we have Baby Marine, Defiance, Inexorable, Milky Cow, and Moja. And for Zerg, we have Eon, Erebus Black, GG Machine, Hatsu, Iba, MiniZerg. There's MiniZerg again, and Shino. So we have our players. We have our top players here. 26. Jesus. 26 players are going to be facing off, and this time it's going to be a double elimination bracket. The event we just casted was single elimination. This is going to be double elimination, and more players as well. More players, double elimination, massive brackets. It's going to be intense. You can see that these players are seeded in because of their previous performances. So Jumy's already seeded in. The round of 32 is going to be a big one. So we're going to be covering the round of 32. That's going to be again on Thursday. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but we're missing a player. If you look at the lineup here, who is the reigning champion? Yakov. Because Yakov is the reigning champion, and because he has, I think he's won like 3 OSC Elite Rising Star tournaments, like in relatively short fashion, he's ineligible. Like, Yakov, congratulations, he is our champion, but it also means that he is not eligible to compete in this tournament. He's just too good. He is deemed to be too good here, and it does give the opportunity for the other players to rise up instead, to also rise up to join YoungYakov, of course, to join him. As he has risen. So that's why YoungYakov is not available here. That's why he's not competing, just because he has been that much more dominant as of late. And again, it does give the opportunity to some of these other players to thrive and to excel. And again, that is going to be on the Thursday morning slot. So that's going to be in 2 days. 2 days time, this very same time slot for this event. So as a heads up. Yeah. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. That's what, yeah. Gracias, Hansma. Gracias. But with that, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. With that, we're going to be heading off for the time being. So I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I hope you all had a great time. And stick around as... I'm a little bit hungry. It's 3 p.m. Tempted. All right, stick around. We're going to be streaming. We're going to be live here on our personal channel. Also, before I get ahead of myself, if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis, so you can help support us on Patreon if you wish. Otherwise, you can also support us in another way. You can support us via following us on YouTube. I just spoke about MiniZerg versus Inexorable. He did really well there. If you missed out on the VODs, if you want to watch those VODs yourself, check them out on YouTube. YouTube is the place to be, as we stream on YouTube on a daily basis, and all the VODs are there. All the VODs are over on YouTube. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. I'm going to be having a small, cheeky ladder session just because we have no cast later on tonight. Join me. I'm going to go get some food, though. I'm going to go get a snack before streaming. So, see you then. Until then, ciao. Bye, ciao. Hasta luego.